Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Mecha for All, the Death Scythe that Pierces the Starry Sky. Chapter 91. Numerous vine-like objects continuously popped up from the ground, and flew toward the sky, like living creatures. At this moment, before all the people behind came in, the air security team that had come out in front immediately poured all their firepower down. The entire ground was bombarded with heavy firepower and was muddy, but this group of special soldiers immediately discovered that these weird vines were unscathed. At this moment, more than 10 mechas were too close to the ground, and were immediately pulled by the vines and pulled down to the ground. The energy weapon is invalid, changed to a melee physical weapon. The members of the Longu Brigade were all veterans who had experienced various battlefields. They didn't panic, but rushed over one after another and started to rescue the bound mechs. Attention, the power of this vine is very strong, it is squeezing the cockpit of the mecha like a snake. My mecha is crazily alarming, time is running out. Hold on, brother. One by one, the mechas pulled out various weapons and chopped down on the vines, but although they could hurt the vines, they only cut off a layer of skin. In the process of cutting down the vines, a few more mechas were entangled. It must be cut more than 20 times in a row on the same part before there is a chance to cut it off. Pay attention to evasion, there are still many vines on the ground that are being thrown out. Take the team as a unit to fight each other. The sound from the entire communication channel immediately became more frequent. My mecha is dying, it's about to be crushed, everyone get out of the way, get out of the way, I'm going to start self-destruct, it's estimated to be 10 seconds. No, hold on, there is still a chance. No need, everyone, my mecha is about to be crushed, it is my honor to become comrades in arms with everyone, goodbye. Captain, please bring my relic to my son. Captain, you still owe me a pot of good wine, remember to pour it to me. When Longu arrived here, he heard such words, and what he saw was that more than a dozen mechas had been dragged to the ground. There are all of them, immediately climbed to the height. Following Longu's words, all the mechs began to climb rapidly. Salute. Longu and all the team members raised their right hands at the same time. Boom boom boom. The loud sound of more than a dozen mechs exploding at the same time illuminated the gloomy sky with a ray of light. At this moment, on the mechs of all the people, they could see the entire alien space, densely packed with trees and vines, spreading all over the area. That amount is enough to make people despair. What the hell is this place? Longu withdrew his saluting right hand with a livid face. Captain, the holographic scanning is no longer available, here we can only observe with the naked eye. Continue to climb the height and avoid these vines, we will throw it to the center. Longu carefully observed the surrounding environment, and took the lead to fly forward. This group of fighters glanced at the mecha wreckage that had turned into ashes again, clenched their hands, and followed Longu. On the ground, there are still countless tree vines, which are constantly drawn towards the air. Wherever Chen Mu passed by was still peaceful, it seemed that there was not even a living thing here. But Chen Mu knew there was. Because the three monsters had already recovered from their injuries at this moment, and they were following Xing Yan. Just out of fear of the scythe, they didn't attack immediately, but hung behind Chen Mu like a pack of wolves, looking for an opportunity. For such a situation, Chen Mu was also a little helpless. Xing Yan's speed was comparable to that of this strange beast, and the other party did not give Chen Mu any chance to approach at all, which caused Chen Mu a headache. At this moment, there was a huge explosion sound from far behind. An explosion of this magnitude, could it be a nuclear explosion? There are other pilots here. Chen Mu's eyes froze, and he looked at the optical screen. There were 3 monsters there. Amidst the sound of the explosion, these 3 monsters screamed one after another, which was heard by Chen Mu, as if they were discussing. Not long after, a monster abandoned Chen Mu, turned around and flew back. No matter who is behind, you have to be careful, this monster is not easy to mess with. At this moment, it is impossible for Chen Mu to look back, so he can only bless the people behind him in his heart. Chen Mu's patience has always been very good, otherwise it would be impossible to endure 10 years of hard training. It is even more impossible to achieve such extreme stability in terms of hand speed. Even though nothing in this space has changed, Chen Mu still doesn't show the slightest bit of impatience. Because he believed in Yi Jingxuan, the man who asked him to call him grandpa. Although Chen Mu actually knew that he was not his grandfather, but when the other party was with him, the love and sincerity from the heart satisfied all Chen Mu's fantasies about his grandfather. So Chen Mu would rather believe that this old man is his grandfather. Since Grandpa said that there is this item here, it must be there. Chen Mu rubbed his sore eyes, and continued to search in this space. Chen Mu never expected that his flight would last a day and a night. Fortunately, Xingyan is very abundant, currently has 37% energy reserves. I also brought several bottles of compressed food pills and compressed fresh water, enough for nutritional support. Bloodshot eyes also began to appear, but with the support of strong physical fitness, Chen Mu's spirit is still very energetic. At this time, some changes finally appeared ahead. The vegetation on the ground has changed. Not only that, but he also seemed to fly to the end of this space. Chen Mu discovered this change at the first time, and he immediately lifted his spirits. The many tall trees have disappeared, replaced by a piece of red grass. This piece of red unknown grass is 3 to 4 meters high, and at a glance, there is no end in sight. At this moment, Chen Mu quietly floated on the outside of the grass, and did not go in. Because he found that after arriving at this piece of red grass, the two monsters at the back stopped flying strangely, but waited and watched from a distance. Is there something wrong with this red grass? These two beasts dare not step in, what is it? Chen Mu hesitated for a moment, the entire space, only this area remained unexplored. Do you want to go in? Feeling Xingyan's surging power coming from the engine, Chen Mu felt a great sense of security in his heart, and then he controlled Xingyan and rushed in quickly. Is it good? A terrifying sense of gravity came, Chen Mu felt a tightness in his chest, and Xingyan fell into the red grass. Is this begging? Seeing that the plane was about to crash, Chen Mu opened the cockpit violently and jumped from a height of 10 meters, and Xingyan also got into the cockpit immediately. After landing safely, Chen Mu shook his neck and found that the huge gravity disappeared. Is it only effective for mechs? Chen Mu looked around suspiciously, but there was still no movement, except for the swaying red grass. There is no living thing. Chen Mu thought for a while, and summoned Xingyan, and when he summoned it, a sudden change occurred. Countless red grasses rolled towards the mech immediately. Looking at the posture, it seemed as if they wanted to eat Xingyan alive. Chen Mu didn't even think about it, and immediately put the mecha back. Countless crooked red grass straightened up again, as if everything before was just an illusion. It turned out to be like this. Chen Mu shook his head and walked inside. This piece of grass stretches for at least 10 kilometers from what we saw in the aerial observation just now. I didn't feel it in the air, but Chen Mu, who was in the grass at the moment, was under double pressure. Because the line of sight is blocked here, it is difficult to discern the direction. Chen Mu tried to pull the red grass and found that it was very resilient. After thinking for a while, Chen Mu pulled the grass and climbed up. After carefully looking at the direction, he started to run. In this way, by constantly identifying the direction, Chen Mu successfully walked out of the sea of red grass after 1 hour. The surroundings were still terrifyingly silent, but Chen Mu's heart suddenly settled down. Because Yi Shui's voice came into his mind. It turned out to be a relic. Yi Shui, you've recovered. That's great. Chen Mu was overjoyed. This area shields all signals and brainwaves, except for this ruin, other places cannot be contacted. It would be great if I could get in touch with you. Grandpa asked me to investigate this place. It should be the ruins of Kuian. Chen Mu walked into this base-like place, but it was dilapidated. I don't know how long this base has existed. The heavy iron gate is full of rust due to the traces of time. This base is still in operation, and there must be high-intensity energy in it. Is there a way to open it? Chen Mu looked around and asked. The algorithm here is different from all known algorithms. If it is to be cracked, it will take 1 hour, 23 minutes and 15 seconds. Then you try to calculate first, and I'll see if there is a way to get in. Chen Mu nodded, started to circle around the entire base, and then climbed to the top of the base. After searching for 3 minutes, Chen Mu found a broken hole. To be precise, this is a place similar to the Mech attack channel. When it was closed, a gap was left for unknown reasons. Although mechas cannot pass through, people can pass through. Chen Mu observed carefully for a while, and after confirming that there was no risk, he continued down this gap and went deep into the bottom. There are pits made by energy beams everywhere, and the remains of humanoid creatures are piled up everywhere underground. This is a base created by a certain ethnic group, but there should have been civil strife, which caused the entire base to disintegrate from the inside and was eventually abandoned. Chen Mu gave his own judgment. The probability is 87%. Yi Shui agreed with Chen Mu's judgment. Looking at the 3-meter-high skeleton in front of him, Chen Mu looked carefully for a long time. This skeleton has the limbs and body of a human, but its mouth is like a starfish, and its head is a circle larger than that of a human. What the hell is this? Insufficient data to calculate. Following the lights that flickered from time to time, Chen Mu went all the way down, passing through as many as dozens of passages. BJEC. The third room on the left should be a data storage room, go in and have a look. Yi Shui's voice came. Chen Mu pushed the door open and entered. There were obviously fewer traces of battle here than outside. On 2 huge chairs, there were 2 corpses lying respectively. At the position of their hearts, a spear of unknown material was stuck in the same place, piercing through the chair and the whole body. This is also the cause of their death. After a long period of time, these 2 spears are still as good as new, showing a forging technology far beyond the current technological level. Chen Mu stretched his hands and squeezed one of the spears, only to see that the spears creaked and gathered into a stick-like object with a length of 1 meter. Can it also shrink automatically? Chen Mu lifted the spear in his hand with some joy, and now that he had the weapon in his hand, he was immediately full of confidence. Then Chen Mu raised another spear again, and only then began to look at the entire room. Except for 2 chairs, the room was empty. Chen Mu frowned, moved a corpse down, and sat on it by himself. Try to put your hand on the handle of the chair, Yi Shui said. As Chen Mu raised his hand, a huge virtual screen suddenly appeared in front of him, with many unrecognizable characters appearing on it. And display a symbol. Yi Shui, this should require a password to enter. See, this text does not exist in all written records in this world, so we have no way to know the password. Then after you crack the algorithm here, can you decipher this text? The cracking success rate is only 0.001%, unless more information can be obtained. Yi Shui's words made Chen Mu shake his head, then stood up. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. The screen in front of him suddenly changed from green to blood red, and then the entire base sounded harsh sirens. Chen Mu immediately raised his spear, watching the movement around him vigilantly. Don't worry, there are no living creatures in this base. Only then did Chen Mu feel relieved, and walked to other rooms amidst the piercing siren. All the rooms have been inspected, except for some corpses and weapons. Not much was found, only this last place remains. Looking at the last iron gate, Chen Mu thought of many ways, except to let the base's alarm sound continuously, but did not open it. Fortunately, after Yi Shui cracked a part of the algorithm, the success rate of the cracking increased greatly, and the time was also shortened. It is estimated that there are still 2 hours and 17 minutes before the invasion can be successful. So Chen Mu could only wait helplessly. But at this moment, the Longu Brigade is almost at the end of its rope. One of the monsters split off and flew backwards when it ran into the Longu Brigade. This never-before-appeared creature made Longu and all the team members feel like they were facing a formidable enemy. After all, this was the first creature discovered so far. Just watching this group of equally tall steel creatures appear, the monster's eyes showed fear, and it retreated more than 10 kilometers, watching from afar. This was obviously the previous battle with Chen Mu, which made the monster fearful. In the monster's eyes, these steel monsters are all about the same. Originally, nothing would happen in this way, but Longu made the biggest mistake. That is, after discovering that there was only one monster, Longu gave the order to capture it. This order caused the Longu Brigade to suffer heavy losses. More than 30 mechas surrounded them from all directions, and the long-range mechas immediately unleashed their firepower. It's just that Longu immediately discovered that this monster was also immune to the energy beam, almost unscathed. Of course, this may also be because the density of the energy beam is not enough to break the defense. Compared with the temptation of the long-range combat mechas, 8 of these 30-odd melee mechas were torn apart by this monster in one encounter. Although their weapons also caused some damage to the monsters, it was only negligible after the death of 8 comrades in arms. The movement and speed of this monster made Longu's heart sink deeply, so he immediately rushed over with his own machine. Longu's mecha is called General. This is a mecha that has both offensive and defensive capabilities. After modification, the overall score has reached S+, and Longu's control skills are also very powerful. So after Longu joined and slowed down the speed of the monster, the cooperation of the entire Longu Brigade immediately made the monster feel overwhelmed. Soon, scars began to appear on the monster's body. Except for Longu, the other team members all adopted the strategy of fighting. If they missed a hit, they would stay away immediately. This strategy worked very well, but the situation changed immediately after the other two monsters rushed over. Because apart from Longu, no one can hold down any monster unscathed. While fighting and withdrawing, this mission is far beyond the S level. We are now withdrawing and requesting support. Longu reluctantly gave the retreat order. It's just that this place is far away from the place where they came in, so it's not easy to retreat safely under the attack of the three-headed monsters. Longu Brigade has entered a desperate situation. Caw 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 caw. Accompanied by ear-piercing friction sounds, the last door slowly opened. A secret room that had been sealed for an unknown number of years appeared before Chen Mu's eyes. This is a huge room, but the various operating instruments in it reveal a sense of ultra-modern technology. Why does this place look like the bridge of a spaceship? Chen Mu spoke with some doubts. That's right, it's the control room of an unknown aircraft, and the control here is not artificial, but similar to some kind of spiritual control. I'm afraid it can't be activated with human genes. While Yi Shui was speaking, a huge screen appeared in front of Chen Mu, and it seemed that someone had entered and started to operate automatically. Then a flat aircraft appeared on the screen, flying continuously in the vast universe. On the aircraft, a humanoid creature wearing a huge cloak sat on a chair and was operating something on a screen. Chen Mu looked around and found that it was the chair in front of him. But there was no trace of the humanoid creature on it. The picture on the screen suddenly started to speed up, and I don't know how long the aircraft has been flying, and suddenly the whole control room became commotion. Several of the same humanoids walked in and began talking to the creature sitting upright in the chair. But soon, the two began to quarrel fiercely, and directly pulled out the spear that Chen Mu had seen before, and started fighting. The cloaked creature quickly killed several other creatures, but during the battle, a milky white luminous body was hit by a spear, and cracks appeared. Then the screen of the entire aircraft shook, and it fell rapidly, finally roaring, and landed on the periphery of a field full of red grass. The cloaked creature suddenly went crazy, and began to slaughter the creatures in the entire aircraft, and finally killed everyone with his own power. In the picture, the cloaked creature returned to the control room covered in blood, then raised his hand to take out a glass container, and opened the lid. Chen Mu found that hundreds of small creatures less than 1 centimeter crawled out of it immediately. And this little creature, Chen Mu looked very familiar. Because this is the terrifying creature he fought before. It's just that Chen Mu couldn't figure out how this little thing less than 1 centimeter grew into such a huge creature. As the cloaked creature waved its hand, the group of small creatures rushed out in a swarm, devoured the flesh and blood of all creatures, and then entered a special container. In the picture, the cloaked creatures go out every day and bring back some inexplicable objects to feed these creatures. And these creatures are also growing day by day, and their bodies are getting bigger and bigger, gradually revealing their hideousness. Until one day, the cloaked creature never came back. This group of creatures began to rush out frantically. The screen stopped at this moment, and then many blood-red characters emerged. It turns out that there are no creatures in this space, and these are all outsiders. Chen Mu sighed, followed Yi Shui's prompt, and walked to the center of the control room. "Call me." Yi Shui's voice came out again. This extremely beautiful mech appeared in the control room. As Yi Shui's electronic eyes continued to flicker, countless complicated patterns lit up under Chen Mu's feet and began to rotate. 10 minutes later, there was a crackling sound, and a console floated up on the ground, and a cylinder that broke in two appeared on it. The cylinder is full of radiance, just like an excellent work of art. It's just this incompleteness that made Chen Mu feel distressed when he saw it. "Yi Shui, what exactly is this?" "Unknown high-energy complex, it is recommended to charge." At this moment, Chen Mu sensed that Xingyan was shaking violently. "Xingyan is coming out too." Chen Mu was taken aback, but immediately summoned Xing Yan. One black and one white, the two mechas stood quietly. Xing Yan's cockpit opened by itself, and Chen Mu jumped up and climbed in. Prime's highest strength source energy spar has been detected, which can restore X mecha by 10% and increase engine strength by 10%. Seemingly hearing the voice of Xingyan's controlling light brain, Yexue's electronic eyes flickered frantically and began to scan Xingyan. Monitored the scanning fluctuations of the second-level mechanical lifeforms, activated defensive emergency measures, and the entire system is being encrypted. Encryption complete. The data of your mech is very weird. The parameter fluctuation value in it exceeds 1000 points, which is full of unknowns. Yi Shui's scan ended up with no results. It's just that in Yi Shui's program, there is no emotion such as depression, so her tone is still as calm as ever. Chen Mu was a little dazed. The two mechs actually carried out a detection and anti-detection autonomously. This simply subverted Chen Mu's perception of mechs. However, fortunately, these two mechs belong to him at present. Thinking of this, Chen Mu felt relieved, and said, Yi Shui, my mech needs this cylinder, but Grandpa's mission also needs this. This kind of high-level strategic resource is the most correct method only if you hold it in your own hands. Yi Shui said without hesitation. Well, I believe Grandpa won't blame me. Chen Mu chuckled and placed the cylinder on the console of the cab. An opening was immediately made on the console, the cylinder was incorporated and then closed again. Since the task here is completed and there is no other useful information, let's go back. The most important thing here is not this high-energy crystal, but the alien civilization here. If it can be deciphered, there is an 87% chance of overturning the current technological process. Whether to decipher these texts here, you need to consider for yourself. I am only responsible for providing suggestions. Chen Mu thought for a while, then said, go back and ask Grandpa. Yi Shui didn't speak anymore. Chen Mu jumped out of Xingyan, put away the two mechas, and ran out of the base. After re-entering the Red Grass Sea, Chen Mu was much calmer than before, and his speed was even faster. Chen Mu, who left the Red Grass Sea in less than an hour, summoned Xingyan and sped away on the way. Time passed by every minute and every second, and the place where it came from was getting closer and closer. The distance from the coordinates is only 100 kilometers, everyone sticks to it. Longu's voice came out on the communication channel. It's just that there are only 14 mechas left in the Longu Brigade at this moment. The rest have been left on this field forever. And these 14 mechs were all wounded. Just when everyone started rushing towards the coordinate point, a monster suddenly roared violently, and an acceleration blocked the coordinate point ahead of time. Seeing this scene, all the faces showed despair. Team leader, only by rushing can we have a chance, otherwise we will surely die if we stay here. Longu took a deep breath. At least, after these monsters appeared, those trees and vines hid in the ground, not daring to show their faces, so we don't have to deal with two-sided attacks. Yes, following the roar of the team members, Longu rushed up first. At this moment, there are no long-distance combat mechs here, and all of them are close combat with wounds all over their bodies. Looking at the battlefield ahead, Chen Mu's eyes turned cold. Xingyan drew an arc, and with the help of trees covering his eyes, he quietly surrounded Wan Wan from one side. Li Zheng's eyes were full of sadness and anger at the moment. Since the establishment of the Longu Brigade, there has never been such a large number of casualties, especially when more than 100 people are dispatched. At this moment, the last passage is still firmly guarded by monsters. Li Zheng didn't know if he could go back alive, but as long as he could hurt this disgusting thing, Li Zheng felt it was worth it. The whole body of this monster is extremely hard, and when the beam saber cuts on it, it is like forging iron, splashing out countless sparks. Only weapons made of special alloys or the bones of alien beasts can harm the opponent, but the resilience of these three alien beasts is amazingly strong. This is also the reason why the three-headed monsters are still alive and kicking until now. At this moment, facing the monster's ferocious counterattack, Li Zheng was heartbroken. The 15-meter-tall mecha advanced instead of retreating. Holding two fighting thorns, it ruthlessly collided with the monster. Go to hell! Li Zheng's mouth let out a roar, and the fighting thorn pierced the monster's body fiercely, and his mech's cockpit was also pierced by the monster's claw in an instant. Li Zheng's 303 felt that his life was passing by, but he smiled, and with the last bit of strength, the arms that controlled the mecha were firmly locked. In this way, my teammates will definitely not let go of such a great opportunity to avenge me. Li Jung's face gradually turned gray, but with a faint smile. Li Jung, Long Yu and the team members roared. It's just that Li Jung, who had already lost his life, didn't notice that his teammates couldn't help him complete the attack at this moment. However, that doesn't mean there aren't people here. The moment the monster was about to escape from the control of the mecha, as soon as it was hit, Xingyan flashed out behind Li Jung's mecha, and the death scythe slashed fiercely across the neck of the monster without any fancy. After seeing this mech, Chen Mu controlled Xingyan and followed behind him every step of the way. Naturally, Chen Mu would not miss this kind of opportunity. The monster froze, and fell to the ground along with Li Jung's mecha. Chen Mu glanced at the damaged cockpit, and the smile on the face of the young man inside made him tremble violently. In the next second, Xingyan drew an arc in the air, and rushed towards the other monster that was madly attacking Longu. Xingyan's exposure immediately attracted the attention of all Longu Brigade. Captain, this mech, well, I saw it, and I will do my best to assist the opponent. Long Yu's eyelids twitched wildly. Xingyan's shocking slash just now directly killed a monster, which made Long Yu understand that there was a turning point for his survival. Although he didn't know who it was, but when facing the alien beast, all pilots were not allowed to attack each other, and priority was given to killing the alien beast, which was an international convention. Because the alien beast is the enemy of all mankind. So after seeing Chen Mu's strength, he immediately entangled with this strange beast, and together with several team members, desperately compressed the monster's movement space. The monster was very angry at the death of its companion, and started to attack Long Yu like a madman. Xingyan flashed several times in the air, and slashed away with a single strike. The monster that couldn't dodge it was immediately cut with a miserable huge scar. Several Long Yu members immediately increased their attacks. This cooperation is very powerful. Chen Mu secretly admired, and assumed the role of confrontation. Seeing this, Long Yu immediately made another adjustment. The other team members who were dragging the other end stopped desperately, but took the measures of fighting, with protecting themselves as the first priority. With Chen Mu's strong participation, this wounded monster had no chance of escaping, and was soon beheaded by Chen Mu. Seeing that the situation was not good, the remaining one wanted to escape, but was intercepted in the air by several team members desperately. When Chen Mu and Long Yu arrived, there was no more suspense in the battle situation. Seeing that the three terrifying monsters were all killed, Long Yu breathed a sigh of relief. This is the guard of Longchang, a member of Longu Brigade. I am Long Yu, thank you for your help, I really appreciate it. I'm a Dragon City recruit, identification number TF 19824. Chen Mu opened the public channel and said, "Oh, recruit, are you a student from which school?" Long Yu showed a look of shock. "Yes, I'm from Tianfu Academy." Chen Mu didn't hide anything. Tianfu Academy. Long Yu was a little confused, because Tianfu Academy didn't seem to have any great newcomers recently. However, Long Yu didn't know how to get to the bottom of it. After several team members hoisted up the corpse of the monster, Long Yu's machine made a gesture of going back together. Chen Mu agreed to the other party's request, and the two returned to Dragon City without any danger. Mr. Chen Mu, thank you for your rescue. If you have anything to do in this Dragon City in the future, you can come to our Longu Brigade directly. This time, we all owe you a favor. Looking at the youthful youth in front of him, Long Yu said with great emotion. It's nothing, I just happened to meet, so I must help. If there is nothing else, I'll go first. Chen Mu shook his head with a smile. Only then did Long Yu turn around and walk towards the headquarters with a livid face. Grandpa, you are fooling me, this is not a B-level task at all. Oh, what did you find? Tell Grandpa in detail. Yi Jingxuan smiled. But after Chen Mu spoke, Yi Jingxuan's smile disappeared, and a trace of fear appeared on his face. Obviously he didn't expect that this housekeeping was beyond common sense. Especially after hearing the appearance of the alien civilization and the Longu Brigade, Yi Jingxuan's face became even more serious. When you saw the Longu Brigade, how many people were there? 9 people, Chen Mu said. Yi Jingxuan took a deep breath. You did a good job this time. No, it was very good, So I decided to find the military to re-evaluate, and add a mutation energy block to your reward, and increase the contribution point to 500 point. Huh, really? Chen Mu showed surprise. I don't know why, but Xingyan seems to have a particularly high demand for mutated energy blocks, so Chen Mu will never miss it whenever he has the opportunity. Well, I heard that after you went to Starry Sky Academy, you asked Lian Yushang to ask for mutated energy blocks, what? I remember you had one, why do you want more? Yi Jingxuan laughed. My mecha is useful. Chen Mu didn't hide it either. Understood, then Grandpa will try to get as much as possible for you. Yi Jingxuan showed a clear expression. In fact, after learning that Chen Mu needed mutant energy blocks, Yi Jingxuan had been trying to find ways to get them, all in order to give them to Chen Mu. Well, thank you, Grandpa. You take a rest first, I have to find someone. Yi Jingxuan thought for a while, stood up and walked out. Yeah, Chen Mu opened the refrigerator and took out a can of Coke, gulped it down, then hiccuped comfortably, and looked at Weia who was sitting in the corner. Weia, long time no see, practice. Good. Weia's answers are always succinct. It's just that Chen Mu didn't expect that even though he had made a qualitative breakthrough in Star Academy, he would still be ravaged in front of Weia. The only difference is that it used to be a 2-minute loss, but now it has become 3 minutes. Rubbing his sore arm, Chen Mu rolled his eyes. Weia, you are such a pervert. Your speed has become faster. Weia's eyes showed admiration. But compared to you, it's nothing to mention. Chen Mu shook his head. After resting for a while, Chen Mu asked curiously, Weia, you are in a daze every day, is there nothing you want to do? Want to do it? Weia was stunned for a long time. No. Then you don't have any dreams at all. Chen Mu was really convinced. Have. Huh, what is it? Chen Mu's fire of gossip ignited immediately. Weia's dream must be to become the best player in the world, right? Retrieve the memory. Huh, Chen Mu looked confused. Have you lost your memory? I don't know, but I don't have any memory before the age of 10, and I don't know my own life experience. Weia had a strange look on his face, as if he was trying to think of something, but he couldn't think of anything. Then what methods have you tried? I've tried it. Yi Lao took me to try all the methods to restore memory, but it didn't work. Chen Mu thought for a while, and said, if I have a way in the future, I will definitely help you, Weia. Weia nodded, and asked Chen Mu for the first time ever, then what is your dream? The boy stood up, looked at the world outside the window, and opened his hands. My dream is to become the most powerful pilot under the stars. Yi Jingxuan and Long Yun sat across the table, and Long Yun's face was extremely ugly. As a special force stationed in Longcheng, the Longu Brigade has not suffered such a huge loss for many years. These are veterans with rich combat experience. If it weren't for the appearance of Chen Mu, the entire brigade would have been wiped out. Old Yi, I have to thank that student of yours. Long Yun said. Those are trivial matters. We will immediately send a team of experts to enter this ruin. There are alien civilizations inside and a special aircraft. The importance of this to our country is self-evident. You are right, I will report this matter to my superior immediately. Long Yun agreed with Yi Jingxuan's statement. About the rewards of this mission, I think it is necessary to improve. Yi Jingxuan nodded. After all, Chen Mu not only completely detected the situation of this ruins, but also saved Long Yu and others. The discovery of this aircraft is even more important. It's a great credit. Long Yun didn't hesitate this time, and said very straightforwardly, you are right, the contribution points this time should be increased to at least 501,900 points, and other corresponding rewards, I will make a list for you to see. No, the contribution point is only 5,000, but the mutation energy block needs 2. Yi Jingxuan said. This. Long Yun frowned and thought for a while, okay, the deal. But Mr. Yi, how about sending such a good seedling to our military? This time, we can just make a promotional video. He's still young, haha, I'd better practice more, wait until he graduates. Yi Jingxuan said haha. Long Yun was also very helpless. Although the military has always been full of talents, after all, to ensure fairness, all colleges and families also have various conflicts of interest. So this kind of direct poaching is the first time for someone like Long Yun. Yi Jingxuan's refusal was also within his expectation. In a certain base in City A, Feng Zan, covered in sweat, came out of the training ground step by step, shirtless. At this moment, his hair is mottled, it turned out to be black. It's just that his eyes are even colder, as if there is nothing worthy of attention in this world. How about integration? Very good, reaching 97%. Shui Ji's voice came out. The white-haired man nodded in satisfaction. Feng Zan really didn't disappoint me. After all this, if he survives all this, he will become a Shira-like existence. Let him come to see me. Yes. 3 minutes later, Feng Zan met the man who changed his life in the reception room. Master. Feng Zan's hoarse voice sounded, and then he knelt down on one knee. Get up, starting today, this upgraded raging flame will be handed over to you. Thank you, Lord. Feng Zan still looked calm, as if he was not surprised. I called you here today to show you something. The white-haired man connected a memory to the virtual optical computer. On the optical screen, the information of Chen Mu, Yi Jingxuan, and Chen Shan began to appear. Without blinking, Feng Zan memorized all the information in his mind. So, it is not an accident that you lost to Chen Mu, because behind him, there is energy far beyond your imagination. If the other party crushes Feng Yuan or you to death, it is like crushing an ant. In this world, there are only two things that can make you invincible. One is power, and the other is strength. Your personal strength is enough to compete with some rookies, but compared with these seniors who have been famous for decades, no matter what aspect, you are far behind. I show you this so that you can prepare yourself. The enemy you are facing is not just a Chen Mu who knows nothing about the sky and the earth, but the huge background behind him. Feng Zan's eyes fluctuated violently. The enemy is certainly strong, but every powerful enemy has grown from being weak step by step. As the old saying goes, 30 years in the east of the river, 30 years in the west of the river, as long as you have the resources I provide you, plus yourself with hard work, all of this is achievable. If you are afraid, you can choose to escape. We work together, and I will give you a place where you can live quietly. I'm not afraid. When my mother died, I told myself that I would avenge her and the murdered father. I'm not afraid of anything, I'm only afraid of a little. I'm afraid I'll never be able to take revenge. The moment Xiaoyuan died in my arms, there was no one or anything that could scare me. Very good. The white-haired man nodded in satisfaction. You are the most talented young man I have ever met, and I am willing to give someone like you a chance. Inject this. Looking at the tube of injection thrown by the white-haired man, Feng Zan remained silent, pointed the injection at his arm, and stuck it down. Well, after the injection, Feng Zan felt a sharp pain all over his body. His eyes were instantly bloodshot, he knelt down on the ground with a muffled grunt, and began to twitch continuously. Get through it, you'll have strength and stamina that normal people can't match. The white-haired man took a sip from the teacup on the table, then sat on a chair, quietly observing Feng Zan's movements. Well, Feng Zan's naked upper body arched sharply, and a black silk thread could be clearly seen moving continuously on his back, which was extremely terrifying. Sweat, like rain, dripped continuously on Feng Zan's face. He bit his lips tightly, fisted his hands, and remained motionless. The white-haired man showed appreciation in his eyes, got up and left the room. My lord, why didn't you wait for him to end? Shui Ji flashed over from one side, and walked out holding the arm of the white-haired man. He can survive it. If he can't, it can only mean that I have misread it, and then he can only die. The white-haired man smiled. In this world, if you want to gain something, you must lose something. This is the eternal truth. Feng Zan, he should know best. After an unknown amount of time, a beast-like roar resounded in the room. Feng Zan got up quietly, looked at his seemingly unchanged body, his eyes were calm, as if the severe pain just now did not exist. It's just that if there is a mirror at this moment, Feng Zan will find that on his forehead, there is a strange pattern made of twisted black silk threads. The pattern is like a black mandala flower. Walking out of the gate, two extremely beautiful women stood at the door, one on the left and the other on the right, and behind the woman, there were 200 people in black. Seeing Feng Zan's appearance, everyone knelt down on one knee at the same time. Captain, we are members of the new Raging Flame Squadron. We are instructed by the Lord to obey any of your instructions from today on. Feng Zan nodded silently, and the group of people stood up. Master, the bathroom is ready, follow me. Without saying a word, Feng Zan followed the two women and walked out. 200 soldiers followed Feng Zan like a whirlwind. Wia, how did you develop these abilities? Chen Mu asked such a question more than once, but even Wia himself couldn't explain why. It seems that his ability is innate. This made Chen Mu a little envious. But Chen Mu will never be jealous, because in Chen Mu's ideology, he only believes in one thing forever. That is one's own strength, which can only be exchanged for water. In this world, all masters are lonely. Because, only by being able to endure loneliness and enduring endless training day after day, year after year, can one truly become stronger. Even if your talent is outstanding, it can only make your starting point relatively much higher, not the end point. His father told him since he was a child. In this world, there are countless senior pilots, and every country has hundreds or even more super pilots. But there are always only a few legendary pilots in the world. Why do they become legends? Qualification, talent, opportunity and hard work are indispensable. Every pilot will train himself very hard before stepping into this rank, until the moment he becomes famous in the first battle. After becoming senior pilots or even super pilots, many people become keen on power, enjoy the sensuality brought by power, and enjoy everything brought by power. They will all get lost in the end, lost in the feasting, and gradually lose their initial motivation. Such a person may still be very strong, but they will never enter the legendary level. So, if you want to be the #1 pilot under the stars, then you should never forget your original intention. Chen Shan's words were deeply engraved in Chen Mu's mind from then on. And this kind of high-intensity practice, Chen Mu never stopped. Feeling the daily growth of strength is Chen Mu's happiest source of motivation. Xing Yan stood quietly, 10 chargers on his back had already been connected. This is the most advanced charger equipped under Yi Jingxuan's authority, so Xing Yan's charging speed is 10 times faster than last time. According to this speed, Chen Mu estimates that it will only take about 2 hours to fully charge Xing Yan with energy. This was the first time that Xing Yan was fully loaded, which made Chen Mu look forward to it. Charging complete. As the electronic female voice sounded, Chen Mu activated the star flame. Immediately, a layer of black light appeared on the exoskeleton armor, flowing continuously like water ripples. This is the quantum reaction activated by the X armor due to the energy overflow. The unknown spears used by the two alien creatures were also installed on Xingyan's legs by Chen Mu at this moment, becoming 2 retractable fighting thorns. Because according to Yi Jingxuan's experiment, the sharpness of these 2 spears far exceeds Dom alloy by 470%. Among them, the forging process surpasses the level of this world for at least 100 years. After Xing Yan flew out, 10 mechas surrounded him in the air, one of which was Longu's general. Student Chen Mu, thank you for your hard work. This time we will bring researchers to go together, and we still need your attention. Longu said very politely. Although Chen Mu is only a corporal at the moment, Longu did not use his official position to overwhelm him, because he knew very well that with the opponent's terrifying fighting power, it is very easy to increase his rank. It's okay, Mr. Long, this time I also accepted the task, and there will be rewards. Chen Mu smiled. In Chen Mu's view, the 3 monsters are dead, and the task of escorting researchers to study spaceships and alien civilizations is simply a gift of contribution points. Moreover, this is what my grandfather won for himself. Yi Jingxuan's old face appeared in front of Chen Mu's eyes again. Xiao Mu, last time you saved the Longu Brigade, so I communicated with the military, this task must be done by you, and you will get 500 contribution points after completing it, you have to work hard. Chen Mu smirked, pulled Xing Yan, and flew forward. With these 500 points of contribution, I will have 1,000. I can be promoted to sergeant. If I do 4 more tasks of the same kind, then I will be a sergeant. Well, it's pretty fast, Grandpa. You've lost the bet. Quote, after Xingyan, there is a small transport spaceship, which is filled with scientific researchers who were urgently dispatched from the main world. The information submitted by Long Yun has attracted the greatest attention of the military. So the ones who came to lead the team this time were Zhang Zhongqi, a national first-level scientist, and his exclusive team. Mr. Zhang is a master of biology, a master of mech development, and a master of linguistics. Such a talent is a treasure-level existence in Dragon Kingdom and even the world. So in order to protect his safety, the imperial capital directly sent a regiment formation. In the eyes of this elite team, Chen Mu, Longu and others are just a few guides. The sight of more than 1,000 mechas taking off into the sky at the same time is very spectacular, and it has also attracted the attention of countless pilots. A big move, it turned out to be an independent regiment of the military. Could it be that some special mine has been discovered? Didn't you see that there is still a transport ship? It should be that something extraordinary has been discovered, otherwise the scientific research personnel would not be escorted by the independent regiment. Following various discussions, this huge team began to march towards the Kuian ruins. Along the way, some groups of small alien beasts chose to stay away from so many mechas flying by. After all, although the brains of these strange beasts are simple, they also have a sense of danger. On the spaceship, the top leader of the team this time is a young man in his early 20s. Under the long hair dyed golden, he was wearing a white suit. This kind of dress is fine for a ball or a formal occasion, but it looks a bit different in this strange beast's face. At this moment, he was sitting at the round table of the spaceship, looking at a beautiful woman who was dining. Tong Yu, this task is estimated to take a long time, so I specially applied and brought a group to protect you. Are you satisfied? While sipping fruit salad, Zhang Tongyu said casually, Tantai Jin, the task of protecting my grandpa is required by the military, so you don't have to put gold on your face. Tantai Jin smiled, and was not angry. Hey, I just want you to be happy, don't make a face of the boss, it would be nice if girls were more sunny. You seem to have endless time. You don't need to waste it with me. Didn't you claim to have thousands of lovers in the capital? It's better to play with them than to suffer from me. This kind of gossip can only be arranged by that Long Yuhuan. That kid can't beat me, so he can only use such indecent methods. Tong Yu, don't you really believe it? I believe. Zhang Tongyu pushed the plate and stood up. It's time for me to help Grandpa sort out the materials, you can do it yourself. Wangs. Watching her moving curves disappear outside the door, the smile on Tantai Jin's face disappeared, and he leaned on the chair helplessly. Why are you pretending to be so lofty? If it wasn't for my dad who went crazy and insisted on me chasing you, I don't know how many times I have played with a guy like you. Tantai Jin looked around with a gloomy expression, and dialed the communicator in his hand. Sir, a resolute face appeared on the communicator. Head Tong, I haven't been to the alien beast space for a long time, see if there are any high-end alien beast gathering places, and find some fun for me. Sir, our task is to protect Mr. Zhang, which may not be appropriate. Tong Mahua frowned. Oh, with the strength of your regiment, what strange beast can't handle it? It won't delay the business, don't forget, I am the supreme leader when I come out this time. Yes, then I will arrange for the chief after Mr. Zhang enters the Kuian ruins. Okay, you guys are so boring. Tantai Jin shook his head and hung up the communicator. Tantai Jin, who was bored, sat in front of the string window, looking at the dark sky outside, feeling a little uncomfortable. Then his gaze turned to the optical screen. There, the situation ahead is displayed in real time. In addition to the members of the Longu Brigade, Chen Mu's Xingyun was flying in the front and leading the way. Zaku. Tantai Jin was stunned for a moment, although he seldom came to the alien beast dimension, he knew about the Longu Brigade. The several brigades stationed in Dragon City are all elite fighters at the forefront, and even a second-generation ancestor like Tantai Jin understands that provocation is not allowed. Even if there is no criminal responsibility, it's not good to be scolded by your father. But this Zaku is extremely eye-catching among a group of high-level mechs. Tantai Jin thought for a while, and retrieved the personnel information. It's actually a student. Looking at the Chen Mu number in the registration information, Tantai Jin became a little interested. A student, leading the way in front of Longu Brigade. This is a big joke, who arranged for him to come here to earn contribution points. Thinking of this, Tantai Jin became happy. This is interesting. How can such serious corruption appear in Dragon City? Fortunately, I am here this time. I want to see who dares to be so bold. Tantai Jin has lived for more than 20 years in this life, and under the protection of his father's generation, he has done countless things that do not follow the rules. 040 But in his view, in this world, what I do is justified, and others do. That's not okay, it's a violation, and it must be taken down. Therefore, Tantai Jin turned on the communicator again, but after thinking about it, he put it down again. Well, it's rather boring recently. If you can't play to death all at once, it will be boring. Let me think about how to play with this kid. Chen Mu didn't know at the moment that was staring at him for no reason, so after setting the automatic flight, he lay down and began to study the battle screen sent by Yi Shui. That was still the scene of the red mech fighting with Sulfur Yi. In Chen Mu's view, although the battle between the two was not long, Chen Mu was amazed by every action the red mech made. If you have to use one word to describe it, it must be 4 words, impeccable. And this is still under the condition that the opponent has not exerted all his strength. Because Jasmine's Sulfur Yi does not have the strength to make the other party exert all their strength. I really want to fight this person, Chen Mu said. If your mecha is comparable to his, then you have the strength to fight him. Yi Shui's words gave Chen Mu great confidence. After all, the opponent is an SSSR level mecha, and Yi Shui's words show that under her analysis, if the mecha level is the same, Chen Mu's combat ability will not be weaker than the opponent. As time passed, the large team also approached the space distortion point. It's here, but after the past, you may encounter attacks from mutated tree vines. It is recommended to send an advance team to stabilize the situation, Chen Mu said on the communication channel. Yes, Tong Mahua said. Wait, this time it's for Mr. Zhang's safety. We have no problem sending the advance team, but he, Chen Mu, right. He must go together, Tantai Jin suddenly said. These words made Long Yu and Tong Mahua frown at the same time. Sir, his task is only to escort Mr. Zhang and the others here, and there is no rigid rule that he must enter the Kuian ruins. Long Yu said. I am the highest commander here now, Colonel Long Yu, you just need to follow the instructions. Tantai Jin looked at the communication channel with an unfriendly expression. Long Yu's expression changed, but he still lowered his head. Yes, sir. Chen Mu listened to the conversation of several people, and said, there was no problem in the past. If the situation is stabilized, I will go back to hand in the task, and you will take over the rest. It depends on the situation later. Since you have issued a report saying that there are items that change the current technology of human beings, you must lead us to find a place. After all, this is Mr. Zhang himself leading the team. His time is not delayed by you. Started. Chen Mu looked at Long Yu, and found that the other party gave him a helpless expression, and immediately understood. Okay, for Captain Long Yu's sake, I will take you to the spaceship. After speaking, Chen Mu no longer waited for Tantai Jin to speak, and directly manipulated Xing Yan to enter the Kuian ruins. Very good, everyone will follow in 5 minutes, Zhang Lao's spaceship BJDH is in the middle, and 200 people will be left behind. Tantai Jin raised the corner of his mouth and began to give orders. Sir, there are strange vines on the opposite side. Chen Mu is just a mech, so I'm afraid it will be difficult to deal with it. Long Yu's face was livid. This is an order. The safety of Mr. Zhang is the top priority. Tantai Jin cast a cold glance at Long Yu. Long Yu closed the communication channel and contacted Long Yun immediately. There is such a thing. Long Yun frowned and thought for a while, then said, I will meet Mr. Yi first, and then I will explain to Chen Mu. Long Yu looked helplessly at the hung-up communicator, and began to pray for Chen Mu in his heart. As soon as Chen Mu jumped out, he immediately raised the height of the mecha. Sure enough, more than a dozen weird tree vines had already started to surge, and drew towards Xing Yan. Sure enough, there is such a thing. Fortunately, I asked Long Yu about it. Xing Yan drew out his sickle and slashed at it fiercely. 7 or 8 of the longest vines were immediately cut in half. Xing Yan's weapon is still trustworthy. Chen Mu was overjoyed. Then Xing Yan rushed down quickly, slashing and smashing wildly, cutting the rioting trees and vines to pieces. Then, Chen Mu saw that these weird vines had all burrowed into the ground in an instant and never showed up again. This, bullying the weak and fearing the strong. Do trees and vines also have wisdom? Chen Mu was a little dumbfounded. It's impossible to control Xingyan to dig the ground, right? After thinking for a while, Chen Mu stopped his movements and quietly suspended in the air, waiting for others to come in. After waiting for 2 or 3 minutes, the mechs began to teleport in continuously, and immediately began to take alert actions. Soon the entire sky was filled with mechas, until the spaceship jumped in. Huh, didn't you say that there are weird tree vines? I'm still going to see, and there's nothing. Many trees and vines were killed by me, and others ran away. Chen Mu said lightly. What, was you beaten away? A monster that can give Longu a headache, was beaten away by a student of yours. Did I hear you right? Ha 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 ha. Tantai Jin let out a series of loud laughs, as if she was about to burst into tears, but Chen Mu was expressionless and frowned. Forget it, even if I was beaten away by you, what about this dead vine? It won't be able to get up and run away by itself, right? Believe it or not, since they're all in, let's go to the spaceship. I'm still waiting to hand in the mission, and I don't have time to hang out with you. Chen Mu turned off the communicator and started to fly forward. Longu, you heard me, you have no eyes on the officer, and openly lied in front of everyone, this is going to a military court. Tantai Jin's face sank, and he looked at Longu. I believe Chen Mu won't lie, sir. Longu said, poking his neck. You. Tantai Jin's eyes showed a fierce light, and then dispersed. Yes, it seems that our Tantai family hasn't been to Dragon City for a long time, and it seems that many people don't remember us. It doesn't matter, you will remember. Chen Mu began to fly continuously along the wasteland, and finally arrived at the red grassland that left a deep impression on him. Stop. Following Chen Mu's voice, all the mechas behind him immediately stopped at the same time, showing the army's good fighting awareness. What's the situation? Longu asked. The last time, the Longu Brigade had never been to this red grassland at all, and was beaten back by 3 monsters. Over here, there is a super gravity field, the mecha cannot fly, and the red grass here is very aggressive to the mecha, so if you want to pass, you have to go by yourself. This. Longu looked at Tantai Jin worriedly. Go to someone and verify the authenticity. Tantai Jin frowned. No, something will happen. Chen Mu said coldly. Who knows whether what you said is true or not? If you don't verify it, let Mr. Zhang get off the aircraft directly. In case of any accident, who can bear it? Just rely on you as a student. Tantai Jin's face also turned cold, and he buttoned his hat. Human life is at stake. If you can't be Mr. Zhang's master, let Mr. Zhang speak out by himself. Chen Mu still respects these military personnel very much, so it is impossible for him to watch the other party go wrong. Do you know who I am? Tantai Jin roared angrily. I don't know, and I don't need to know. I'm not a member of your military, and I'm not under your command. I brought you here to complete my mission. If you insist on letting people go in and die, why don't you try it yourself? Try. Chen Mu looked at the blonde young man with cold eyes. Okay, kind. Tantai Jin lay down on the seat. Chief Tong, send someone to check the reality. Yes, sir. Tong Mahua's complexion was also ugly. Through Longu's attitude, Tong Mahua believed Chen Mu's words. It's just that at this moment, even though this regiment was brought out by him, the actual commander is the 2nd-generation ancestor. Akiong, you go, be careful. Yes, press. A white mecha flew out of the queue and started heading towards the red grass. If I were you, open the cockpit first. Chen Mu glanced at it, and then said. Wang Cheng was taken aback for a moment, but didn't make a sound. Open the cockpit. Tong Mahua's voice came immediately. Yes. Wang Cheng then opened the cockpit, drove the mecha high, and flew over the red grass. The moment the mecha entered the sky over the red grass field, the whole mecha suddenly fell to the ground. At this height, the fall only takes a few seconds. Fortunately, Chen Mu's previous reminder made Wang Cheng react in his heart, and his speed was also very fast. He immediately stood up from the seat, and jumped out in the air the moment the red grass grabbed the mecha. Under everyone's helpless gaze, Wang Cheng's mecha was caught by dozens of grasses, and was instantly squeezed into a pile of scrap copper and iron, and then quickly pulled into the ground. Then the grasses started swaying again, as if nothing had happened. Everyone gasped at the same time. Any more questions? Chen Mu asked coldly. What the hell is this? Tantai Jin's face changed a little. Leave 200 people outside to guard, and the others put away their mechas, and we will go on foot. Tong Mahua's face was also extremely ugly. Yes, After these people put away their mechas, Chen Mu also jumped out from Xingyan. Accompanied by Zhang Tongyu, Zhang Zhongqi walked out of the spaceship. Here is the Kuian ruins. Yes, Mr. Zhang, this way please. Tantai Jin accompanied him on the other side with a smile all over his face. Zhang Zhongqi nodded, and a group of soldiers immediately walked over to help the helpless scientific researchers, carrying various instruments. This rectification took almost an hour. The most important thing is that some testing equipment is too heavy. Little brother, how did you discover this site in the first place? Zhang Zhongqi looked at Chen Mu kindly. Chen Mu knew Zhang Zhongqi, and he was very impressed. Because when Grandpa narrated the mission to him, he mentioned Zhang Zhongqi emphatically, and his tone was very respectful. Yi Jingxuan even pointed out that for the Dragon Kingdom, Zhang Zhongqi alone is better than thousands of troops. For such scholars, Chen Mu maintains his greatest respect. Mr. Zhang, it's like this. Well, let's talk as we walk. Zhang Zhongqi showed great interest, and followed Chen Mu as he walked, while listening to his narration. You said there were aliens in it and some kind of monster was unleashed. Yes, there are at least 100 of that group of monsters. Of course, I don't know how many years have passed. In the end, we saw only 3 of them, which have been killed. Well, I've seen the samples, and the evolution of this creature is very high. Zhang Zhongqi nodded, carefully looking at the red grass. This grass is not offensive to humans. I walked through it twice, and no creatures appeared in it, nor did it cause any attack. Chen Mu explained. Okay, let's go there. Zhang Zhongqi took the lead. Wait, Mr. Zhang, this is too dangerous, let them open the way ahead. Tantai Jin said. It's okay, I trust Chen Mu's judgment. Zhang Zhongqi patted Chen Mu on the shoulder. I heard you are still a student. Well, I'm from Tianfu Academy. Chen Mu laughed. The young man has made such great contributions, and is still so diligent and steady, which is very good. When he goes to the imperial capital, he can find the old man and me for tea when he has time. Yes, thank you Mr. Zhang. As soon as Zhang Zhongqi said this, Chen Mu didn't react at all, and the expressions of everyone around him changed. Even Tong Mahua's face showed a hint of envy. You know, with Zhang Zhongqi's status in the Dragon Kingdom, it's not something anyone can see if they want to. This boy Chen Mu is really lucky. Only Tantai Jin, as if eating a dead fly, had a ferocious face. Zhang Zhongqi glanced at Tantai Jin from the corner of his eyes, and sighed inwardly. In fact, the reason why he treats Chen Mu so kindly is only because he heard the conversation between Chen Mu and Tantai Jin on the spaceship. He understood Tantai Jin's energy, so he had some love for a student like Chen Mu, and he didn't want him to be destroyed by Tantai Jin, so he deliberately said this in front of everyone. This is the hope that Tantai Jin will let Chen Mu go. It's just that Zhang Zhongqi knew too little about the second-generation ancestor like Tantai Jin, and he didn't understand that what he did had the opposite effect. Tantai Jin's heart was filled with a monstrous rage. How can this kind of kid be valued so much by Zhang Zhongqi, an old man? But he doesn't pretend to be polite to me. Both of them, and Zhang Tongyu, who dared to show off in front of me, Mada, if I don't play tricks on you, I'm not Tantai Jin. Tantai Jin kept roaring in his heart, and gradually clenched his fingers tightly. Mr. Zhang, pay attention, the ground here is not even, and very soft. While leading the way, Chen Mu pushed aside the grass along the way. Thank you. Zhang Zhongqi smiled and nodded for a long time. Because he had to take care of Zhang Zhongqi, Chen Mu didn't go fast. The mighty hundreds of people, plus various equipment and instruments, took 4 hours to arrive at the spacecraft. It is exactly noon at this moment, and the alien space at this point is much brighter than other times. As the communication with Yexue resumed, Chen Mu's heart also settled down. Mr. Zhang, according to the clues and information I got inside, this entire area should be an aircraft. Chen Mu pointed to a ruin ahead and said, What? It's impossible. With such a large range, if it is an aircraft, it would have to be 40 or 50 kilometers from the beginning to the end. What kind of engine or power would it need to drive it? A scientific researcher showed a look of disbelief. Zhang Zhongqi shook his head. This world is far bigger than we imagined, so any situation is possible. Now that we have arrived here, we'll use your eyes to prove it. Although a little tired, Zhang Zhongqi seemed a little excited, and he took the lead to walk in the direction pointed by Chen Mu. Zhang Tongyu frowned, obviously worried about his grandfather's body, and trotted 2 steps to follow him. Chen Mu stood still, with no intention of following. The yellow-haired monster looked at him very strangely, showing his uneasiness and good intentions, so now that he was here, Chen Mu didn't plan to continue. The mission was only sent to the Kuian ruins, but now it is sent directly to the spaceship. Just when Chen Mu was about to turn around and leave, Longu walked over. Brother Chen Mu, before entering the Red Grassland, I contacted General Long Yun. He and your grandfather have already learned what happened. General Long has also expressed his position. I will definitely give you a satisfactory explanation, but I hope you can help us protect Mr. Zhang. Is there such a thing? Chen Mu frowned. Yes, this is the message Mr. Yi sent you, you will understand after reading it. Chen Mu turned on his communicator and connected to the memory card that Long Yu handed over. Long Yu immediately left Chen Mu knowingly and walked towards the spacecraft control room. Yi Jingshuan's face immediately appeared on the virtual screen on his wrist. Xiao Mu, your task has been temporarily adjusted, so you can protect Mr. Zhang with peace of mind. Grandpa will handle the rest for you. Remember, if the situation is urgent, everything will be based on Mr. Zhang and your life, and other people have nothing to do with you. Grandpa, you are really looking for trouble for me. Chen Mu shook his head and turned off the communicator. Chen Mu is a patriotic person, but he is not pedantic. It is reasonable to protect a national talent when he is capable. So Chen Mu is not bothered about this task itself. What he is upset about is Tantai Jin, who looks at him from time to time. The opponent's eyes were full of murderous intent. If you really dare to play tricks in the dark, just find a chance and kill him. Chen Mu's eyes turned cold, and he walked towards the military Dr. Zhang. Soon, with the secret help of Yi Shui, the door of the spaceship was opened. The scene that Chen Mu saw before immediately caught everyone's eyes. This, Rao is the well-informed Zhang Zhongqi, who is stuttering at the moment. Is this really an aircraft? Even though it was mentioned in the report, everyone was still shocked. After all, a huge spacecraft with a length of 50 kilometers cannot be manufactured by Blue Star at this stage. Quickly, bring in all the equipment. By the way, don't move the bones on the ground casually. We need to conduct inspections. Zhang Zhongqi said hastily, then turned his head to look at Tantai Jin. You ask all the soldiers to observe each cabin, and remember to bring the biological detector I prepared. Okay, Mr. Zhang. Tantai Jin looked at Tong Mahua. The latter made a few gestures, and immediately all the team members took out their light guns, brought a circular detector, and began to go to the interior of the entire spaceship. Chen Mu kept looking at the detector. After all, Chen Mu has already been here once, and the shock of the past has long since disappeared. At this moment, he is somewhat interested in this biological detector. You're interested in this gadget? As if sensing Chen Mu's gaze, Zhang Tongyu spoke. Yes, detection accuracy. Every creature within 10 kilometers will be detected. It's very practical. If you're interested, I'll give you one. Zhang Tongyu took down his backpack and took out a detector. This is the latest model developed by my grandfather, which can detect creatures within a range of 20 kilometers. Zhang Tongyu turned on the switch of the detector, pointed to the light screen above and said, green represents humans, red represents insects, etc. Chen Mu played with it for a while, and quickly got used to it. This thing is very compact, and it can be directly connected to the communicator, which is very practical. Thanks. Chen Mu casually put it in his tactical backpack. You're welcome. Zhang Tongyu smiled. Xiao Mu, come here. Zhang Zhongqi suddenly beckoned at this time. You say you found the ship's control room. Where is it? Show me there. With Chen Mu leading the way, Zhang Zhongqi, Tantai Jin, Long Yu, Tong Mahua and others soon came to the main control room. The gate here was not closed after it was opened last time, so this group of people also watched that video. There really is an alien civilization. Yeah, this creature obviously has very high intelligence. Different from other people's amazement, the heavy complexion became extremely ugly. This is a disaster. The opponent's civilization is several levels higher than ours, and it is full of aggressiveness. Fortunately, Xiaomu found this place. Otherwise, if this creature finds our planet, the end of our humanity will come. Quote, Mr. Zhang, this is impossible. Although this kind of creature looks very powerful, we have mechas. Relying on their bodies is like dealing with mechas. Tantai Jin said disdainfully. It's not like that. We don't know what kind of strength this alien civilization has, but we have actually seen their technological level. Moreover, each character of this kind of writing is actually composed of tens of thousands of characters. It is very likely that one character is the content of a book. I can't even imagine such a thing. Just trying to decipher this kind of writing may cost us countless manpower, material resources and time. Zhang Zhongqi caressed the characters on the screen, as if he wanted to engrave them firmly into his mind. Tantai Jin pouted, but did not speak. Chen Mu was greatly shocked. Because after continuous analysis, Yi Shui came to the same judgment as Zhang Zhongqi. One word actually contains thousands of contents. What kind of words can have such ability? Insufficient data to calculate. It's not really like the three-body theory, there is really a multi-dimensional universe, right? If it's true, then our world is vulnerable. Such a thought came to Chen Mu's heart, and he shivered all over. What's wrong with you? Zhang Tongyu was a little confused. Nothing. Chen Mu shook his head, but began to tremble at his own thoughts. I've decided to stay here for a month and get some daily necessities sent over. Zhang Zhongqi looked back at Tantayan and the others. 1 month. Tantai Jin showed a perplexed look on his face. Letting a playboy like him stay in this crappy place for a month would kill him. It was just his father's order that he must stay by Zhang Zhongqi's side. Mr. Zhang, I'm afraid your body won't be able to take it if you stay here for a month. It's better to let these scholars stay here and you can command from a distance. Tantai Jin thought for a while and said. That won't work. They are not as familiar with many things as I am, so I have to stay here. Zhang Zhongqi rejected Tantai Jin's proposal without hesitation. Long Yu said. That's fine, I'll go out and contact Longcheng, and send supplies right away. I'm sorry to trouble you. Zhang Zhongqi nodded. Tantai Jin's face was livid, he turned and walked outside. It's not a problem, 1 month, forget it, Yin Longcheng will see if there are any girls venting their anger. Chen Mu doesn't care about the current situation. After all, the passage to the alien beast space has been closed, and it will take a month before he wants to go out. So after Zhang Zhongqi began to devote himself to the research work, Chen Mu also watched it with great interest. The various equipment used by this group of researchers was something that Chen Mu had never seen before. So Chen Mu is also very interested. Seeing this scene, Zhang Zhongqi said, if Xiaomu likes to study, you can help him. Chen Mu was overjoyed. Can you? No problem. When they are researching or experimenting, you can ask any questions you have. Zhang Zhongqi's affection for Chen Mu has reached a peak in the past few days. As a researcher, I am afraid that the young people who like to study are the ones I like the most. Today's young people are more fond of fighting, but not very interested in scientific research. So when Chen Mu was by his side these days, he didn't hesitate to give advice. Under Zhang Zhongqi's instruction, this group of staff also became Chen Mu's teachers. This made Chen Mu quickly familiar with the usage of all the testing equipment, and began to help them. During the rest time, Chen Mu began to practice the movements taught to him by Wia. Your movements look very weird. What's the effect? Zhang Tongyu asked curiously. Taught by a friend, it can improve physical strength. Chen Mu smiled. Tongyu, are you also interested in this kind of quack style? If you want to learn, I can teach you the unique martial art of our Tantai family. Hearing this voice, Zhang Tongyu and Chen Mu's expressions sank at the same time. After finally being quiet for a few days, I didn't expect that Tantai Yan would run over after playing around in Longcheng. Zhang Tongyu, who was still full of interest, immediately cooled down, stood up and left here without saying a word. Chen Mu didn't even look at Tantai Jin, and was still exercising. There are a total of 18 sets of this set of movements. After a month of practice, Wang has been able to successfully complete the first 6 sets. The benefit brought to him is also an obvious improvement in physical function. So Chen Mu takes 2 hours to exercise every day. With Tantai Jin's pale face, he glanced at Chen Mu, then turned and walked towards Zhang Tongyu. Just as Chen Mu was sweating, Yi Shui's voice sounded. Underground area, there is an abnormal situation, there is a thermal weapon attack. Chen Mu's eyes froze, he stopped his movements immediately, and stood up. Pass it to me. Sent to your communicator. Chen Mu was on the communicator, and a small light screen appeared, showing a huge room. Since entering the spaceship, the soldiers of this regiment have been constantly searching all areas, searching for items that can interest scholars as much as possible. It was only when they searched for the location marked as Area 37 by Yishui that an accident happened. A soldier accidentally shatters a glass container, and then a huge glass jar rises from the hidden chamber. And inside, there are thousands of palm-sized strange beasts, which are sleeping. Just when this group of fighters was reporting and preparing to send the container to the top, something happened. The group of little creatures slammed into the glass container and ran out. A group of fighters who couldn't escape were instantly penetrated into the body by these weird and disgusting monsters. Not long after, the whole body was left with only bones, which were devoured by this palm-sized beast. And the bodies of these strange beasts also swelled and enlarged as if they were inflated, and soon reached the size of an adult. The soldiers who followed up immediately took out their beam guns and blasted them, causing the whole room to become a mess. When Chen Mu clicked on the communicator, he saw such a scene. Chen Mu felt a chill in his heart, because these were the three strange beasts he had fought with. It's just that at this moment, they haven't reached that huge height yet. But Chen Mu didn't know how much their evolution time was, so Chen Mu ran to the control room without hesitation. After 45 seconds, Chen Mu pushed open the door of the control room. Old Zhang, there is a situation, I must take you out of here immediately. What's the situation? It's urgent. Zhang Zhongqi put down the instrument in his hand and asked with a frown. Yes, Chen Mu didn't talk nonsense. We have 800 fighters, not enough. Not enough, because this kind of strange beast is too aggressive, and its speed is extremely fast, and it is already spreading. It is likely to arrive here soon. Mr. Zhang, you have no fighting ability, so I must take you away first. Okay, let's go right away. Where is Tong Yu? Several scientific researchers hurriedly began to collect the materials. Chen Mu looked at the communicator, where has been divided into many small areas by Yi Shui, showing that this group of strange beasts is constantly entering each room, and these soldiers are also fighting to the death, but the effect of the beam gun on these creatures really limited. Chen Mu had already seen hundreds of strange beasts coming directly towards the control room. It's too late, these instruments can only be taken away later. Chen Mu immediately summoned Xingyan and jumped on it. Captain Longu, you escort them to the red grass, and I will stop these monsters. Okay, Chen Mu, be careful. Longu, Tong Mahua and the others immediately pulled the bolts and ran towards the gate with a group of scientific researchers. Zhang Zhongqi and others cannot drive mechs, so they can only walk. But at the moment when he saw Xingyan, Zhang Zhongqi let out a ha, and then, led by Tong Mahua, turned his head while running. Xiao Mu, remember to bring Tong Yu out. In the corner, more than a dozen figures of strange beasts had already appeared. They were either on the ground, or hanging upside down from the top, or on the wall next to them, but they rushed towards this side at the same speed. Chen Mu's hands also brushed over the cockpit. Ah! Several shrill roars sounded, and several strange beasts had been sliced into two by Chen Mu. Then Xingyan kept moving on the ground and began to attack. Chen Mu found that although these strange beasts looked the same, their strength was a notch lower than the three beasts they encountered before. Chapter 101. When Chen Mu killed most of the group of strange beasts, the remaining 20 or so beasts immediately dispersed, hid in the distance, and let out a shrill cry. Many fighters have boarded the mechs and are firing. There is a 50% chance of breaking through the core power furnace of the spaceship. In that case, it is likely to cause the entire spaceship to explode. Yi Shui's words made Chen Mu feel cold, so he immediately notified Tong Mahua of the situation. The whole regiment has them. No thermal weapons are allowed. Come as far as possible to the ground. Tong Mahua's roar resounded through everyone's communicators. And this group of fighters immediately manipulated the mechs to put away the beam guns, and began to break out under the attack of the monsters. Where is Zhang Tongyu? Chen Mu looked at the emptied gate and asked. Area 30. However, there seems to be something wrong with her. There are huge energy fluctuations covering that area. Chen Mu swiped his hands, and Xingyan quickly ran towards Area 14. The strange beasts encountered along the way were all cut in half by Chen Mu. The casualties of the independent regiment were extremely heavy, because these strange beasts appeared without warning, and their speed was so fast that the naked eye could not catch them. Many fighters were attacked by alien beasts and died before they even had time to board the mechs. The death conditions were extremely miserable. Fortunately, the communication here is still smooth. After the first group of people had an accident, other fighters had the opportunity to enter the mecha and came to the outer area. Zhang Tongyu was in a very bad situation at the moment. When the strange beast appeared, she was checking an instrument. As Zhang Lao's granddaughter, her protection is naturally very strict, and Tantai Jin is also there, so she has more than 50 soldiers by her side. The moment the alien beast appeared, these fighters rushed forward desperately, giving Tantai Jin and Zhang Tongyu the opportunity to enter the mecha. But this also paid the price of half of the people's death. And this is only a short time of 30 seconds. Stop them, I will protect Miss Zhang and retreat first. Tantai Jin's face turned pale. The ferocity and weirdness of these strange beasts made him, who had always been well protected, startled a little. Yes, sir. The remaining 20 or so fighters controlled the mechs and rushed up. Zhang Tongyu's face was also pale at the moment. She, who had never been to the space of alien beasts, was obviously frightened by this tragic scene. Especially those soldiers on the ground who were by her side a moment ago or being eaten by strange beasts. Let's go. Pipe. Quote. Without saying a word, Tantai Jin controlled the mecha and ran towards the gate. Okay. Just when the two mechs ran forward one after the other, the cry of the alien beast suddenly resounded throughout the spaceship. Then, all the strange beasts began to howl continuously. Zhang Tongyu suddenly felt something strange under his feet, and then the whole ground suddenly turned over, and Tantai Jin and the rest of the soldiers fell to the ground together. Although she stabilized quickly, she also fell more than 500 meters in this extremely short time. The former ground, now the roof, is beginning to close. Zhang Tongyu hurriedly flew up, and behind her, there were more than a dozen strange beasts rushing towards her frantically. And in front of her was Tantai Jin's mech. Help me. Zhang Tongyu's voice sounded in Tantai Jin's mecha. Tantai Jin's face flickered, and then he looked at the roof of the building that was about to be closed, and the strange beasts that had already approached the two of them. Then he manipulated the mecha without hesitation, and kicked Zhang Tongyu's mecha. With this force, Tantai Jin returned to the spaceship at the last moment. And Zhang Tongyu's mecha was caught by several strange beasts and dragged to the ground. Tantai Jin panted violently, then let out a cold snort, and flew out of the spaceship. Zhang Tongyu's eyes widened. She really couldn't believe that the person who said that he must protect him a moment ago kicked her into the abyss at this moment. Looking at the closed top, Zhang Tongyu felt ashamed and trembled all over. The scene of those soldiers being eaten kept flashing in his eyes. No, I don't want to be eaten by alien beasts, Grandpa, save me. Zhang Tongyu tried his best to drive the engine to the maximum, but under the pull of more than a dozen alien beasts, the mech was still falling continuously, as if there was no end. Chen Mu and Tantai Jin brushed past each other, and hurried to the place where they fought before. It's over. Looking at the piles of bone fragments on the ground, Chen Mu's face was a bit ugly. No, it's underground. Yi Shui's voice came. Chen Mu manipulated the scythe across the ground without hesitation. The sharpness of this weapon cut a circle through the 50-centimeter thick alloy ground, and then punched it down. A big hole opened in the whole ground immediately. Xingyan's electronic eyes flickered, and he jumped down. Zhang Tongyu, are you there? Zhang Tongyu, who was ashamed, gave a shiver. Whose voice is this, calling me? I am, is Chen Mu. I am here. Zhang Tongyu's crying voice sounded on the communication channel. Chen Mu breathed a sigh of relief. Xingyan's speed immediately increased to the maximum, and he came in front of Zhang Tongyu. Under the attack of the death sickle, these dozens of strange beasts were instantly emptied. Follow me, Chen Mu said, and manipulated Xingyan to hold Zhang Tongyu's mecha, ready to leave here. At this moment, a huge light on the ground lit up. Xingyan turned around in the air and stopped. As for Chen Mu, he also saw a picture that he will never forget in his life. A giant beast with a height of 50 meters, with two scarlet vertical pupils, was staring at him. The muscles all over its body shone with a metallic luster. Two huge claws are grabbing a mech and sending it to its mouth. Just like eating a wafer, chew it and swallow it. The cry of the strange beast pierced gold and cracked rocks, causing the entire Kuian ruins to tremble. This voice also changed the expressions of Tong Mahua and the others on the ground. Withdraw immediately. Without hesitation, Tong Mahua picked up the heavy weapon on his back and rushed towards the red grass field. During this roar, Zhang Tongyu's throat was sweet, and he spat out a mouthful of blood, then rolled his eyes and passed out. Chen Mu also had tinnitus, and this roar was not stingy with sonic attacks. What the hell is this? Chen Mu's expression became so dignified for the first time. The huge beast stood up, and with one step, it arrived in front of Xing Yan. Yi Shui, Zhang Tongyu is in your hands. Xing Yan flicked Zhang Tongyu's mecha in his hand, and rushed up quickly. And Yi Shui's figure also appeared immediately, and came to Zhang Tongyu's mech in a changed direction, then directly opened the opponent's cockpit, and put Zhang Tongyu into his own cockpit. At this moment, Chen Mu and the giant beast had already gotten into a mess. The collision between the death sickle and the opponent's claws sent out countless sparks from nomas mixed with the blood of alien beasts. Ah! The pain-eating beast roared violently again. Chen Mu was in a daze, and the giant claws of the strange beast slapped the cockpit fiercely. Boom! A thick beam of white particles slammed into the claw. The strange beast staggered from the beating, then its body became blurred and it rushed towards Yi Shui. The figures of Yexue and the strange beast in the sky flickered, and the speed was extremely fast. Chen Mu had just recovered from his dizziness at this moment, and the opponent's sonic attack directly penetrated the cockpit, which had a great restraint effect on Chen Mu. Seeing Yi Shui who was dodging quickly, Chen Mu manipulated Xing Yan to chase after him without hesitation. After changing directions more than a dozen times in a row, Xing Yan's death scythe finally hit the alien beast's claw again, bringing out a stream of blood. And Yi Shui finally opened the distance again and stopped 200 meters behind Chen Mu. The two sides resumed their confrontation again. You actually put Yi Shuiluo at a disadvantage, what exactly is this? Chen Mu's heart was extremely shocked. You know, even if Yi Shui is a long-distance combat mecha, this place is very small for mechas, but who is Yi Shui? That's an SSS-level mecha. Regardless of speed or dodging skills, for Yi Shui, who is extremely powerful in computing power, they have reached a relatively extreme state. But if it weren't for Chen Mu's obstruction, Yi Shui would not be able to escape the attack of the giant beast here. The two stared at each other for a full minute, and then Chen Mu took the lead in attacking. With a string of afterimages, the death scythe cut towards the pupils of the strange beast. And this strange beast, whose size and speed did not match, also brought out afterimages, and then grabbed the cockpit fiercely. Yi Shui retreated 1,000 meters again, raised her gun and shot. The white gathering particles' attack power against alien beasts is also extremely powerful. Coupled with the deterrence of the death sickle, the two sides have reached a balance point. The situation of the battle suddenly came to a stalemate. At this moment, Chen Mu did not expect that his battle with this giant beast would last for many, many years. Chen Mu's hands, with afterimages, moved one after another on the console, like a brilliant firework, constantly blooming. Xing Yan's trajectory became more and more erratic and elusive. At this stage of the battle, there is no end to death. Because of this position, it is extremely difficult to leave. Neither Chen Mu nor Yi Beast dared to show his back to the other party, because that would inevitably pay a heavy price. At this moment, Chen Mu's terrifying stamina was displayed again. Chen Mu knew that his stamina had always been good, but he never thought that it would be so good. The battle between the two sides lasted for a total of 6 hours. During this period, if Chen Mu made a single mistake, it might be irreversible. A loud gasp sounded in the cockpit. The sweat on Chen Mu's forehead kept slipping down. There were many scratches on Xing Yan's entire fuselage, one of which almost penetrated the cockpit. At this moment, that giant strange beast had only one claw left, and his other claw was severed by Chen Mu at the moment when he almost killed Chen Mu. There were huge wounds all over its body, and the incision on its forehead was so deep that the bone could be seen, almost cutting its head in half. Both sides were already reaching their limits, and even Yi Shui issued an energy warning. Such an intense firepower attack caused Yi Shui's energy to drop very badly. Even if her energy far surpassed that of nuclear power, it was almost bottoming out. This is the most difficult battle Chen Mu has ever experienced in his life. Even among the fights of his life, this BJDB was one of the few fights. In this battle, Chen Mu once again broke through his limit. The broken arm of the monster is his masterpiece after the breakthrough. At that critical moment, Chen Mu's breakthrough saved his life. The giant beast roared again, and following the sound, those small alien beasts that were still entangled with the mecha rushed into the place one after another, and rushed towards Chen Mu. Yi Shui's beam of concentrated particles immediately sparkled. I ordered to set off immediately and return to Dragon City. Tantian roared hysterically. Mr. Zhang, it's not that I don't want to save Tong Yu. I'm the man who loves her the most. However, Chen Mu's mistake caused them to fall into the ground. I'm afraid it's already. Zhang Zhongqi's face looked even older, and he sat in the spaceship without saying a word, his hands trembling slightly. Tong Mahua, set off immediately, with Mr. Zhang's safety as the first priority. Yes, sir. Tong Mahua's eyes showed grief. More than half of the more than 1,000 regiment members he brought out stayed in the Kuian ruins forever. As for the other half, if it weren't for the sudden retreat of the strange beasts, perhaps more than those would have died. These are all elites, and it takes a lot of effort to cultivate one. They are the root of the Dragon Kingdom's strength. Tong Mahua silently looked at the ground. At this moment they were already heading towards the place they left. Long Yu sat on the mech blankly. Chen Mu's face flashed in his mind. Chen Mu, you must come out alive. Otherwise, how can I explain to Yi Lao? Although this group of small alien beasts couldn't hurt Xingyan, they caused a lot of trouble. Because Chen Mu would be distracted, even if Yi Shui shot one by one, after killing all these hundreds of strange beasts, Xingyan's figure looked extremely miserable. At first glance, apart from Yi Shui, who was unscathed, Xingyan and the giant beast were all scarred, and it felt like they would fall apart in the next moment. There was a look of shock in the eyes of the giant beast, and it retreated 500 meters when Chen Mu struck with a knife. It turns out that you are also afraid sometimes. Chen Mu panted violently. I thought you were really fearless, idiot. Xingyan draws a beautiful arc in the air to attack the giant beast. It has been more than 10 hours to fight here. Taking the actual combat example of mech combat, this point is extremely incredible. Because there is currently no mech energy that can support this kind of fierce battle at this time. There is no pilot who can last such a long time under such a high-intensity battle. Even among those legendary pilots, none of them could reach such a level. In my heart, I once again elbowed Wia. Without his supervision and help, Chen Mu would never have reached the current height. Up to now, Chen Mu and the giant beast are very familiar with each other's attacks. So when the giant beast's movements changed, Chen Mu immediately understood it. Want to escape? In Chen Mu's eyes, for the first time, a fierce murderous intent flashed. Because Yi Shui calculated that with the terrifying combat power of this giant beast, it was enough to directly slaughter the entire Dragon City, and it was even possible for the body to pass through the wormhole and enter the main world. If it is really allowed to go out, it is likely to cause a catastrophe in the main world. Because its speed is too fast, and its defensive power is amazingly strong. Moreover, by eating alloys and other items, injuries can also be restored. For all human beings, this kind of strange beast is the most difficult opponent. Fast speed, high attack and defense, and amazing recovery power. Xingyan followed the beast closely in this huge space. The two were constantly fighting, and finally approached the big hole dug by Chen Mu. The giant beast trembled all over, and let out a terrifying roar again. Chen Mu spun around for a while, and then he went up, down, left, and right, and 4 beams of concentrated particles blasted towards the giant beast, blocking the attack route of the beast. The giant beast's back trembled, and 2 huge wings stretched out from under the skin, then smashed through the top, and flew out. Chen Mu felt a little helpless. The other party's sonic attack was totally unreasonable. If it wasn't for Yexue's support, every time the sonic attack appeared, Chen Mu would be at the gate of hell. Seeing the giant beast disappear in the blink of an eye, Chen Mu followed immediately. Then he saw that the giant beast fell suddenly on the red grass, and was tightly entangled by a pile of red grass. Chen Mu was overjoyed. But at this moment, he didn't dare to drive Xingyan to rush over, and could only watch the progress of the situation from a distance. Pulled by this unknown grass, although the giant beast kept roaring, it had no effect. The ground is also constantly churning, as if there is a huge bloody mouth below, trying to swallow the giant beast. Chen Mu's fear of these red grass became more and more intense. Seeing that there was no hope of escape, the giant beast suddenly lay there motionless, as if accepting its fate. Seeing this scene, Chen Mu's eyelids twitched, and he retreated 30 kilometers immediately. Why retreat? Yi Shui, who was following closely behind, asked. Intuition. Intuition. Insufficient data to calculate. If you can calculate it with intuition, then you are really a god. Chen Mu shook his head and looked at the optical screen quietly. There, the giant beast is being pulled into the ground bit by bit. Isn't it really trapped to death like this? Chen Mu frowned secretly. But thinking of the battle with the giant beast, Chen Mu faintly felt that the situation was not that simple. The figure of the giant beast disappeared in the red grass field. The red grass that trapped the giant beast stretched towards the sky again, swaying slightly. The situation has changed. The shaking frequency of these red grasses is changing, and the speed is getting slower and slower. Yi Shui's voice made Chen Mu concentrate like never before. Then, Chen Mu also noticed the abnormality, the red grasses didn't move. 10 minutes later, a roar came from the ground, and then the entire red grass field began to wither, and the ground continued to fall. Chen Mu manipulated Xingyan to rush over without hesitation, and then slashed hard at the place where the giant beast fell. The death scythe went 10 meters deep into the ground, and then heard a crash. At this moment, the ground has dropped to a depth of 100 meters, revealing the body of the giant beast and a severed red giant minister. At the root of this giant grass, 3 off-white gelatinous objects appeared at this moment. A high composite energy jelly has been detected, and the absorption can restore 20% of the mech's ability. At the moment when the sound of Xingyan's master control light brain sounded, Chen Mu rushed over without hesitation. With Xingyan's speed, if he attacks at this distance, he can directly make more than a dozen actions in 1 second. The giant beast's hand grabbing the jelly froze, and then his figure blurred for a while. He actually resisted Xingyan's death scythe with his back, and his remaining claws still grabbed the jelly. Does it also know this thing? Or does this allow it to recover from its injuries? Just as this thought popped into Chen Mu's mind, Yi Shui's sniper rifle had already been fired. The concentrated particle beam bombarded the roots of the giant grass, and the 3 jelly objects flew into the air. The giant beast let out an extremely angry roar, which made Xingyan freeze in the air, and then grab the jelly again. Chen Mu was dizzy for a while. It was just this feeling, he had experienced it several times before, so although his eyes couldn't see clearly, but based on the previous feeling, Chen Mu endured the nausea, and quickly made several gestures on the console with both hands. Instruction. Xingyan stretched, then swooped down, slashing at the giant beast's head with the momentum of splitting Washan. Roar. The monster turned its head vigorously, but Chen Mu still cut a huge gap several meters deep, and blood gushed out like a fountain. And Yi Shui also made the best cooperation with Chen Mu at this moment. At the moment when Chen Mu was slashing with the sickle, Yi Shui's beam of concentrated particles hit the giant beast's claws, causing its claws to vibrate, and 2 pieces of jelly fell off, and Yi Shui snatched it away. At this time, Chen Mu also woke up from dizziness. Xingyan changed direction rapidly in the air, dodging the crazy attack of the target. 30 seconds later, Xingyan slashed at the giant beast's paw, and the 2 fell apart as soon as they touched each other, and they confronted each other again. On the bloody head of the giant beast, 2 vertical pupils looked at Chen Mu with deep hatred. Then it threw the jelly into its own mouth and swallowed it directly. After sweeping past Chen Mu and Yi Shui again, the giant beast's speed suddenly increased to the limit and fled forward. Chase. Chen Mu followed without hesitation. Chen Mu, this jelly is a high-energy complex. I analyzed it just now. If it is added to the engine as the energy core, it can increase the speed of the mecha by 10%, and its battery life can also be increased by 10 times. Quote. It's so powerful. Chen Mu was startled. No, then this giant beast will probably be able to recover soon, and even go further. Your guess is 97% likely. Yi Shui replied in the affirmative. Give me one. Chen Mu opened the cockpit during the flight, and Yi Shui, who was connected with him, also came to Xingyan a second before and threw the jelly to Chen Mu. The cockpit closed quickly, and Chen Mu put the jelly on the console, which was quickly swallowed by Xing Yan. High compound energy jelly. Grade 3-dimensional top. Recommended location. Engine. Weather to fuse. The fusion time is 10 minutes. Fusion. Following Chen Mu's words, the jelly entered Xing Yan's body, and along a certain way that Chen Mu couldn't understand, gradually transferred to the position of the engine and combined with the original power source. A giant beast and 2 mechs crossed the sky at high speed. I need to transform this jelly before I can use it. As a core strategic resource, in order to avoid being leaked out, I injected Zhang Tongyu with a sleeping potion. Well, no problem, Chen Mu replied immediately. The giant beast flew all the way to the coordinate point in the air, which made Chen Mu frown. How did the other party sense the coordinates? Point 0. This is the strangest thing for Chen Mu. After all, if he could sense it from the beginning, he should have gone to the space of alien beasts long ago, instead of being trapped in the spaceship for countless years. It's the energy fluctuation trace of the mecha, which should be produced by the spaceship flight of the heavy weapon before. Yi Shui's words made Chen Mu understand. Soon, the giant beast that arrived at the coordinate point rushed over fiercely, and then its figure became blurred. I'll go first, you follow. Chen Mu controlled Xing Yan to protect the sickle in the cockpit, and then rushed into the coordinate point. There was no expected attack. The moment Chen Mu came out, he only saw the figure of the giant beast 10 kilometers away. After returning to the alien beast space, Yi Shui's detection ability immediately recovered, and the 2 mechas chased after him without hesitation. His speed is increasing. Chen Mu found that the speed of the giant beast was getting faster and faster. Even though Xing Yan's engine had been driven to the maximum, it was still being pulled further and further away. Yes, the opponent's speed has increased by at least 2 times compared to before, and the current flight speed has reached Mach 15. When Chen Mu was a little depressed, the electronic female voice of the mecha sounded. The engine upgrade is complete, and the current maximum flight speed has been increased to Mach 15 atmosphere minus 20 Mach in the universe. The current energy storage value is 100%, and the sustainable non-stop flight time is 10 years, 253 days and 17 hours. Sharp. Feeling the surging power from the engine, Chen Mu increased Xing Yan's speed to the maximum. A huge thrust came instantly. Xing Yan was like a shooting star, disappearing in the blink of an eye. That's how it happened. At that time, the ground suddenly sank, and when I was pulling Tong Yu's mecha to fly out, Chen Mu's mecha was surrounded by several strange beasts, and they ran into us in a panic. Tong Yu and Chen Mu fell at the same time, down. Then the ground was closed, and there were countless strange beasts inside. I desperately tried to open the floor, but I couldn't open it no matter what, until a group of strange beasts chased me. I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Tong Fatty. Tantai Jin wiped away the tears she had squeezed out, her face was full of grief. Only a few people in front of him looked at him expressionlessly. Okay, send Mr. Tantai to rest. Long Yun frowned. General Long, it's not a trivial matter that Chen Mu was able to make military achievements here and indirectly cause Tong Yu's accident. Tantai Jin stood up, and then said again. I have my own discretion in this matter. Mr. Tantai was shocked today, so please rest well first. Long Yun made a gesture of seeing off the guests. Tantai Jin's face changed, but he understood that the 710 in front of him was the owner of a family that his relatives did not recognize, so he didn't force it, but let out a cold snort, and left the room. It's impossible for Chen Mu to make such a low-level mistake, but it's been 2 days and he still hasn't come back, so something must have happened. Yi Jingxuan looked out the window. Well, I have sent someone to search, and there should be news back today. Long Yun nodded. Thank you, Yi Jingxuan said. Contact me as soon as possible. Don't worry, Mr. Yi. For a good seed like Chen Mu, if something happens to our Dragon Kingdom, I will try my best to find him. Long Yun said solemnly. Yi Jingxuan nodded and looked at the holographic screen. A certain interface there is constantly beating. After Long Yun left, Yi Jingxuan clicked on the jumping interface. This is a video sent back. In the video, the search screens of several machines are displayed. My lord, we found traces of a fierce battle at the bottom of the spaceship. There were huge paw prints, knife marks, and traces from the impact of the particle beam. It is inferred that the young master and Master Shui fought with unknown beasts for a long time here. Time to fight. According to the broken claws on the ground, it can be inferred that the height of this alien beast is over 40 meters. In addition, there are hundreds of corpses of small alien beasts and the wreckage of 3 mechs, but the young master and Master Shui are both missing. Zhang Tongyu the mecha is there, but the cockpit is empty. Another thing I need to report to you is that the red grass with a huge gravity field in the records has disappeared, and the ground has sunk several hundred meters. According to various signs, the subordinates infer that for some reason, the young master and Master Shui went after the injured giant beast, because no corpse of the giant beast was found at the scene. While Yi Jingshuan breathed a sigh of relief, he also became a little anxious. It turns out that He Yekshui's power has to go through such a hard fight. What kind of beast is this? If it comes out, will it cause irreparable damage to Dragon City? Thinking of this, Yi Jingshuan immediately notified Long Yun to strengthen the patrolling around Longcheng. It took only 1 day for its claws to regenerate, and judging by the reflected gloss, it feels even better than before. Chen Mu said with a solemn face. Yes, this composite energy jelly provides too much kinetic energy, but such an evolutionary speed is enough to prove the horror of this strange beast. The existing data is not enough to prove whether it has an upper limit for evolution. If there is no upper limit, sooner or later, it will become an invincible existence. Yi Shui's words made Chen Mu's heart heavy. Chen Mu's distance at this moment has been far away from Dragon City by an unknown number of kilometers. He is only fortunate that the direction chosen by the giant beast is not where Dragon City is located. Along the way, Chen Mu also encountered many flying strange beasts, but where the giant beast passed, these strange beasts wisely chose to stay away from it. The chasing battle continued, and the giant beast and the 2 mechas began to gradually enter the center of the entire alien beast space. My son, according to the information reported by the military, no remains of Chen Mu's mecha were found. In addition, Zhang Tongyu's mecha was found, but there was no one in the cockpit. What does this mean? Tantai Jin frowned. It means that Chen Mu and Zhang Tongyu are most likely not dead. Tantai Jin gasped violently for a couple of times, then picked up the foreign wine on the table and drank it down in one gulp. Asshole, Zhang Xin, tell me, why don't they die? Isn't it all over after death? You asshole. Young master, why don't you find a way to recruit some family elites? If they really come to Dragon City, they are on the way. Zhang Xin made a gesture of wiping his neck. Tantai Jin paused his hands, rolled his eyes for a while, then nodded and said, you do this, and you must do it cleanly, and don't let anyone know about it. Yes, young master. Zhang Xin smiled viciously, and then walked out. Feng Zan stood quietly in the task release hall, looking at an announcement above. It was an announcement about the guard mission of the Kuian ruins. Feng Zan cared about this task not because the bounty was unexpectedly high, but because of an additional branch task attached below. Look for the traces of Chen Mu and Zhang Tongyu, and those who find them will be rewarded with 3,000 contribution points. Have you found it? Hearing footsteps behind him, Feng Zan asked without looking back. My lord, it has been found out that it was an exploration mission of an alien civilization. After that, 60% of an independent military regiment was killed. Chen Mu and Mr. Zhang's daughter Zhang Tongyu disappeared at the same time. 60%. Feng Zan's eyes fluctuated slightly. Yes, even higher. Very good. Our Raging Flame team has accepted this mission. Let's go and ask when it will start. Yes, my lord, but what? The military's independent regiment is an elite team led by Tong Mahua. It has more than 1,000 people. If more than 60% of them are killed in battle, Chen Mu probably has no bones left. No, he's still alive, I can feel it. Feng Zan's eyes showed pain. How could he die so easily? If that's the case, how can I heal my wound? Feeling the murderous aura in Feng Zan's body, this subordinate trembled all over, lowered his head and dared not speak. Go, this matter will be settled immediately, and then we will go to the Kuian ruins. Yes, my lord, this is the 7th day after entering the depths of the entire alien beast space. If Yekshui hadn't been there, Chen Mu would have been unable to persevere. At this moment, he is sleeping soundly, and Xingyan is set to automatically follow Yi Shui to fly. The vegetation here also began to gradually thin out. On the ground, countless barren ground appeared, covered with red rocks. Dee. The ear-piercing siren woke up the sleeping Chen Mu. What's the situation? Chen Mu suddenly opened his eyes and sat up straight. There is a group of strange beasts that have never appeared, and they are rushing here. The speed is very fast, and it has reached Mach 14. As soon as Yi Shui's voice fell, 16 seahorse-like creatures quickly approached. On their long and narrow heads, they have a pair of red vertical pupils like giant beasts. The long and pointed tail flashed a flabbergasted red light, which was ferocious and dazzling. The giant beast also changed from its previous rampage and stopped directly. This was the first time that the giant beast took a defensive action during Chen Mu's pursuit. This made the alarm bell in Chen Mu's heart ring immediately. Xing Yan drew out his sickle without hesitation, and put on a defensive posture. The 16 pointed-tailed beasts have no wings, but their flying speed is astonishing. The bulging muscles in the chest also shone with a metallic luster. At this moment, among the 16 sharp-tailed beasts, 8 out of them surrounded the giant beast, while the other 8 folded their paws and looked at Chen Mu coldly. As soon as Chen Mu made a defensive move, the group of sharp-tailed beasts rushed over. The death scythe spun around in the air, encircling 6 of its heads, and the blood suddenly appeared. Every strange beast that encounters Xingyan's weapon for the first time will suffer a big loss. That is the sharpness of this weapon, which has reached the point where strange beasts can't stand it. Ah! 3 of the 6 pointed-tailed beasts were cut by the sickle, and they roared in pain, but they still attacked without fear of death. Yi Shui had already begun to evade the attacks of the 2 pointed-tailed beasts, trying to create distance. Xing Yan is like a peerless master, moving and shifting in the air, constantly swimming and fighting. Chen Mu even had time to observe the fighting situation of the giant beast. Compared to Chen Mu, it was a bit difficult for the giant beast to deal with this group of sharp-tailed beasts. The tails of these pointed-tailed beasts are 7 or 8 meters long, like whips, and they are extremely fast. Colliding with the terrifying claws of giant beasts can be evenly divided. Both are also comparable in speed. According to the hundreds of alien beasts that Chen Mu has seen all the way, this group of pointed-tailed beasts should belong to the top of the food chain even in this alien beast space. After all, L had been chasing them for a week, and they were the only ones who dared to directly attack the giant beast and Chen Mu. The giant beast showed a furious expression. It obviously didn't expect that apart from the 2 iron bumps of Xingyan and Yexue, there were other creatures who dared to wrestle with it. Seeing Chen Mu was also fighting, the giant beast began to suddenly appear in the air, injured, and caught a sharp-tailed beast to violent. At this moment, the 2 battle groups are fighting in an instant. After resting, Chen Mu's physical strength has also recovered well. Although it looks dangerous at this moment, it is actually not dangerous. Looking at the bloody hole on the back of the giant beast stabbed by the sharp-tailed beast, Chen Mu's heart moved, and he pulled the 6 sharp-tailed beasts to move there. Roar! The roars of giant beasts and sharp-tailed beasts followed one after another. Chen Mu manipulated Xing Yan to change direction in a wide range, and the death scythe sliced across the giant beast's head without fancy. This greatly exceeded the expectations of the 2 alien beasts. The giant beast let out an angry roar, and quickly flew to one side, dodging the attack of the sickle, but was attacked by 2 sharp-tailed beasts in the end, spilling a large amount of blood. It can be seen from this that this giant beast has memory, and it would rather be stabbed by a sharp-tailed beast than be hacked by the death sickle. The addition of Chen Mu made the entire battlefield more complicated. The 3 parties started a melee. You have me, I have you. And Chen Mu and Juju occasionally deliberately trick each other. As long as there is a chance, the 2 sides will attack each other without hesitation, or create a chance for the other party to be hit by the sharp-tailed beast. This is a great test of Chen Mu's control over the entire battle situation. In particular, this group of sharp-tailed beasts is more powerful than the 3 strange beasts at the Kuian ruins, and their number is far greater. Xingyan's bumpy fuselage had just recovered this week, and now it became extremely miserable again. Sorry, old man, Chen Mu muttered while constantly observing the surrounding movement. Xingyan's optical screen has also been switched to a mechanical screen. Although Chen Mu is sitting in the cockpit, he is in control of the surrounding environment. This function is also a new function that appeared after Xingyan's repair rate reached 10% after absorbing the high compound energy jelly. This scene is like sitting in the cockpit of Yexue. But Yexue's side relies on Yexue's powerful computing power and scanning. As for Xingyan, he simply reflected the external environment of 1,000 meters around him directly and truly in all directions inside the cockpit. This feeling is like Chen Mu himself flying in the air. It can be understood that you are sitting in a cockpit surrounded by glass, and everything outside can be seen directly. Both have their strengths and weaknesses, but are equally powerful. The difficulty of the sharp-tailed beast also gave Chen Mu a headache. The height of this kind of creature is about 12 meters, which is equivalent to that of a machine. The speed is extremely fast, especially the tail thorn is more flexible and tricky. From time to time, it stabs from unexpected places. Every time after stabbing the giant beast, the roar of the giant beast made Chen Mu deeply understand that the pain is definitely not covered. So Chen Mu never wanted to be stabbed even once by this tail thorn. This kind of creature, in all the materials, has not been seen. It is considered a brand new creature. On Yekshui's side, Chen Mu needn't worry for now. Although he was entangled by the sharp-tailed beast in a long-distance battle, with Yi Shui's calculation ability, he was still able to handle it with ease. Moreover, he can also throw a few polyparticle beams from time to time to relieve Chen Mu's pressure. The three-way battle resulted in the absence of any other creatures in this airspace. If someone is in the air, they will find that the creatures a few kilometers away from Fangyuan are frantically fleeing in all directions along the center of the battle. Chen Mu's main target is still on the giant beast. After all, Dragon City has been established for so many years, and humans have no initial panic about the alien beast space. Because these strange beasts have fixed circles and classes. High-level alien beasts are all in the center of the alien beast space, and never leave to the periphery. But this monster is different. It is a species from outside the sky, and its intelligence level is not low, and its evolutionary attribute is very high. If it escapes, it will make Chen Mu feel a huge hidden worry in his heart. Therefore, this behemoth must die. Chen Mu is not the Holy Mother, so she will not say anything to save the world, but the hatred between this giant beast and herself has been formed, and she must not let the tiger go back to the mountain. So the battle situation has reached the present, and the situation has become that Chen Mu is carrying the attack of the sharp-tailed beast, and is coordinating with other sharp-tailed beasts to attack the giant beast. As long as he killed this unknown giant beast, he would immediately evacuate from the territory of the sharp-tailed beast, then nothing would change. A stern look flashed in Chen Mu's eyes, the star flames flashed past the sharp-tailed beast, and the scythe with a cold light, cut a huge wound on its back with a depth of 267 visible bones when the giant beast dodged in a hurry. Ah! As the flesh and blood of the giant beast spilled, several pointed-tailed beasts gave up their attack and rushed towards the fallen piece of meat. Then, under Chen Mu's shocked eyes, the group of sharp-tailed beasts ate up the piece of meat. However, because of this special situation, there was a gap in the encirclement of the giant beast. The giant beast's painful roar stopped suddenly, and then it rushed out, instantly turning into a small dot on the horizon. Chen Mu controlled Xingyan to rush left and right in the group of sharp-tailed beasts. It took more than 30 seconds to escape and chase after the giant beast. However, only half of the group of sharp-tailed beasts attacked Chen Mu, and the rest chased the giant beast. Why is this happening? Since they attack giant beasts to devour them, why are they unwilling to give up on mechs? Chen Mu was a little puzzled. Energy and alloy items are currently known conditions for the evolution of alien beasts. Yi Shui's voice came over. But obviously this monster is more attractive to them. Chen Mu shook his head. There is a 10% possibility that it is for the mech itself, a 20% possibility that it is for energy, and a 70% possibility that it is for the high composite energy jelly that we carry. This group of alien beasts is determined to win the giant beasts, but it is also the same for us. Can they sense the existence of super energy? Chen Mu's eyes froze. The probability of this is above 92%. That would be very depressing. Chen Mu manipulated Xingyan to avoid the tail stab attacks of several sharp-tailed beasts, while chasing the giant beasts. As the behemoth fled again, the melee turned into a chase. It's just that the scale of the chase has expanded again. This situation is very bad. Judging from the direction of the giant beast, it should continue to penetrate into this alien beast space. If some more powerful alien beasts are provoked, then we will all run away. Yi Shui agreed with Chen Mu's words. The difficulty of this group of sharp-tailed beasts was beyond Chen Mu's imagination. No wonder the opponent dared to attack the giant beast directly. The flight speeds of the three parties are all extremely fast, and it only takes half an hour to cross a distance of tens of thousands of kilometers. At this moment, the giant beast in front suddenly stopped suddenly, and after being violently attacked by the sharp-tailed beast several times, it changed direction and left in embarrassment. At this time, Chen Mu was in the situation, and his worries were also proved to be meaningless at this moment. There is a huge space shrouded in red mist. But at this moment, the sharp-tailed beasts rushing out of the red mist, numbering in the hundreds, or rushing towards them frantically. Depend on. Chen Mu made a rare swearing, turned around and fled without hesitation. Just kidding, 6 heads will be difficult, but this is more than 100 heads. Shouldn't the higher-level alien beasts live alone? They actually became a tribe. Can this still make people live? Yi Shui had already taken a step ahead of Chen Mu and flew to the left. At this moment, Chen Mu didn't care about the giant beast anymore. If he chased it again, he would directly bump into a large army of sharp-tailed beasts on the way. The pursuit battle finally came to an end. The ending is that Chen Mu and the monster started their escape respectively. Fortunately, these pointed-tailed beasts are creatures after all. After chasing them for a day and a night, they finally lacked physical strength and were thrown far away without a trace. Chen Mu breathed a sigh of relief, but then, he encountered new troubles. Because of the high-speed flight for more than a week, and when escaping from the sharp-tailed beast tribe, I had no direction, and I didn't know how many kilometers I ran. Chen Mu found a tragedy, lost. And this day and night of chasing, coupled with the restrictions on detection in the alien beast space, Yi Shui's connection was also lost due to the distance. Chen Mu had to be self-reliant, and began to search for a place in the alien beast space. As long as you know where you are and go to the periphery, you don't have to worry about the appearance of high-level alien beasts. At this moment, Yi Shui finally got rid of the sharp-tailed beast's pursuit. After calling Chen Mu to no avail, Yi Shui's electronic eyes flickered, and she started heading towards Longcheng. As long as you can get out of the alien beast dimension, there is no problem. There are still 18 days before returning to the main world, and there is enough time. It's just a pity that the bet with Grandpa seems to be impossible to complete. The monster caused me to fail to advance. Quote. Chen Mu, who was full of resentment, muttered while observing the movement around him. At this moment, without Yi Shui's scan, he had to rely on himself for everything, which made Chen Mu very tired. Seeing that the sky was getting dark, Chen Mu controlled Xingyan to land, stopped at a hillside with an excellent view, and activated the alert detection. Take a break first. After taking out the communicator and trying to send the message but failed, Chen Mu took out the compressed food pills and fresh water to replenish his energy. I don't know how my parents are doing now. I have become a corporal, and their salary will also increase accordingly, hehe. Already saved almost 10 million, if you save enough 30 million, go to the defense circle in the center of S and buy them a 3-bedroom apartment, so that their safety will be guaranteed. While Chen Mu was thinking, a happy smile appeared on his face. Well, there's Shaolin, let's see if I can get her some souvenirs, she hasn't been to this beast space yet. While thinking, Chen Mu slowly fell into a deep sleep. This skill was also learned from Vili. As long as you maintain a certain breathing rate and add body movements, you can quickly enter the deepest sleep and ensure the quality of sleep. For a soldier, how to fall asleep quickly on the battlefield is also a science. The night in the alien beast space is not dark, the sky is a misty red, although the visibility is not high, it is still possible. The alien beast space at night is not peaceful, because there are a lot of alien beasts active at night. Fortunately, as long as Chen Mu is given a few seconds to react, there will be no accidents. Although Xingyan's scanning system is not as powerful as Yekshui's, it is only for Yekshui. In fact, Xingyan's scanning system is far superior to S-class mechs. A mech squad is in battle formation at the moment, heading towards a dense forest. This is a special mineral place, and the mission of this team of mechs is to go here to take a special plant. And this kind of plants can only be discovered at night, and they will shrink into the ground during the day, and the fields are strange. Mr. Yoshino, there are too many destinations to choose from. Be careful, this special plant is guarded by strange beasts. Quote. Don't worry, Mizutani, Yoshino-kun is an awakened S-class mecha. In our country of cherry blossoms, this is a rare sight. Shota-kun is right, everyone, come on. As several people continued to move forward, they soon arrived at their destination. Quote. That's the one, I didn't see the strange beast appearing, Mizutani, you go and collect it, we will protect you. Yoshino Hideo said in a low voice. Yes, Yoshino-kun. Mizutanagawa carefully landed the mech, and began to go down the elevator. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. A dozen or so strange beasts the size of a fist rushed out fiercely. They look like bees that have been magnified many times, but the sharp blue stings make you never want to be stung. Under the darkness of night, it was not easy to spot these bees. As soon as Mizutani Chuan landed on the ground, he let out a shrill scream, and then fell on his back. What's going on? Mizutanagawa, what's wrong with you? Shanta shouted hastily. Quick, it seems that something has attacked him, please save him. Matsushima Yuna also became anxious. Attention, this thing seems to be very small. Yoshino Hideshi said in a deep voice. It's just that in the cockpit where no one noticed, the smile on Yoshino Hideshi's face was extremely weird. Following the attack of the mecha beam gun, the light that lit up allowed everyone to see that Mizutani Chuan's entire body shrank directly, and the ground beneath him. Blood is constantly flowing. After the blood seeped into the ground, bursts of blue light came out, and soon a dozen blue flowers rose from the ground. Mizutani is dead, please don't be sad, we have already cleaned up the blue moon bee, Mr. Shangtai, just go and collect the blue moon flower. Yoshino Hideshi drove the mech and killed all the blue moon bees before he spoke. Yes, Yoshino-kun. Seeing Shota's figure appearing on the ground and starting to collect blue moon flowers, Yoshino nodded in satisfaction. Only he knows, if there is no human blood, these blue moon flowers cannot appear even at night. Therefore, Shui Ji-yu was the one he deliberately let out to die, using his blood to lure out blue moon flower. It's just that Yoshino didn't notice that in the dark night, in the sky dozens of kilometers away from them, there was a black mecha floating quietly, observing their every move. Chen Mu was awakened by the attack sound of the beam gun. At this moment, he was driving Xingyan, observing the team of pilots from afar. Someone shows up, it means it's not too far away from the station, but this is definitely not a pilot from Dragon City, what country is it from? While thinking, Chen Mu followed the team of mechs. Although the current world is fairly peaceful, there are constant small-scale frictions between countries. So Chen Mu didn't show up. Because in the alien beast space, apart from the alien beasts, the most dangerous are pilots from other countries. Xingyan followed behind this team of mechs and went all the way forward. After flying for a day and a night, Chen Mu saw the appearance of a large fortress. If you go in directly, it may cause unnecessary trouble. According to the time, there are still more than 10 days. It seems that we can only wait outside. Chen Mu was thinking while looking for a suitable place. Generally, there will be no strange beasts around this kind of fortress, as long as you pay attention to the pilots from other countries, so Chen Mu is still very relieved. It's just that Chen Mu still underestimated the defense mechanism that would appear in such a national fortress. Despite being nearly 200 kilometers away from the fortress, Chen Mu was still detected because his mecha was not within the identification signal range. At this moment, in this fortress named Yaki City, the Supreme Commander Miyamoto Jiro is listening to the report of his subordinates with a gloomy expression. This matter cannot be ignored lightly. A few people were sent to be arrested and tortured. It is very likely that they are spies from other countries. Yes, General. Ida Zuo bowed respectfully to accept the order, and then arranged a small team under his command to fly straight to the place where Chen Mu was resting. The combat team of Sakura Country is fixed at 15 people, led by one S-class, and all the others are A-class. Compared with the number of S-level mechas in Dragon Kingdom, Sakura Kingdom can only be regarded as the younger brother. However, Sakura Country has many allies. No matter which world, it is very common for the strong to go alone and the weak to join the group. Sakura Country is just a small country, and there is only one connection point to enter the alien beast space. But they have also gained a lot of benefits in the alien beast space over the years. The domestic development is good, so they have started to jump up and down in the international arena, wanting to increase their influence. Recently, there has been a lot of friction with the Dragon Kingdom because of a mine vein in the alien beast space. The strength of the Dragon Kingdom has also made many countries very afraid. So this was originally a very simple matter, but it turned out that the Dragon Kingdom was using its hegemony to threaten the Sakura Kingdom, which caused protests from many countries headed by Lee Country. The relationship between the two parties was very tense, but due to the international situation, there was no immediate war. But skirmishes continued. In Dragon City, when lone mechas meet each other, small-scale battles usually break out. In this situation, the top leaders of both sides are silent. So when he learned that an unidentified mecha had come near Baki City, Miyamoto Jiro didn't dare to be careless. In Aidazuo's consideration, this kind of scout-type mecha is a single machine, and most of its combat effectiveness is not good, so sending an S-level team is enough. Therefore, what Chen Mu saw at this moment was that 15 mechas were uncovered, rushing towards him aggressively. Which country's mecha are you from? You dare to spy on our Baki City, and you will be arrested immediately. Tojo Toothless yelled on the public channel in Eagle language. Baki City. It's the country of cherry blossoms. Chen Mu was silent for a while, and then carefully recalled the memories in his mind. After confirming the location of the opponent's country, Chen Mu showed his killing intent for the first time. Although this is no longer the original world, I am an angry youth. Since I am an angry youth, it is only natural for me to do something out of line with Sakura country, right? Seeing the black mecha rushing towards him directly, Tojo Watooth's eyes froze, and he shouted in the team channel, "Stay away, give him a good look." The 14 mechas dispersed in a rush, and then began to shoot. After the baptism of the battle between the sharp-tailed beast and the giant beast, Chen Mu's evasion skills have reached a level that ordinary people cannot understand. In the beams of light all over the sky, Xingyan was like a passerby taking a walk, turning left and turning right, and came to Tojo Wuji. This is the first time Tojo Watooth saw this mecha clearly, and it was also the last time in his life BJCH. So fast. As Tojo Watooth's words came out of his mouth, his mecha had been cut in half by the death scythe from top to bottom, making a deafening explosion. Team leader. As soon as a mecha called out, there was a violent explosion immediately. Xingyan was like strolling in the garden. In the encirclement of 15 people, he stabbed one at a time. Baga, fight him. Boom boom boom. No, help, I don't want to die. Boom boom boom. Ah, I'll kill you. Boom boom boom. Under Xingyan's super high speed, none of the mechas could jump out of Chen Mu's control. In 15 seconds, apart from the 5 seconds it took to move forward at the beginning, Chen Mu solved this group of guards of Baki City. Seeing the 15 piles of wreckage smoking, Chen Mu's eyes darkened, and then he snorted coldly and rushed towards Baki City. Enemy attack, all the guards attack immediately and open the defensive cover. Accompanied by the harsh sirens, the entire Baki City rioted. This is the first time since the establishment of Baki City that someone has directly attacked this huge fortress. Miyamoto Jiro and Aidazuo looked at the optical screen in front of them with livid faces. Azaku, it went straight to the city. Miyamoto Jiro squeezed his right hand. When did people look down upon our Sakura kingdom so much? I have sent troops to capture this fool alive. Aidazuo's face turned red. This matter is a bit weird. When you catch someone, you must understand the opponent's purpose. In addition, does this mecha carry any high-energy explosives? Be careful not to let him explode in the city. Miyamoto Jiro instructed. Yes, General. Zuo Ida immediately switched on the communicator. Ichiro Nengen, your department must keep the other party out of the city, in case the other party has a self-explosive device of mass destruction. Yes, my lord. Ichiro Nanin turned off the communicator, looked at the Zaku that was quietly floating in the air, and his mind was full of question marks. A Zaku, why? However, Sakura country's obedience is still very high, so Nanan Ichiro waved his hand and let a mecha brigade rush over. Catch alive. Hey. As a group of mechs rushed over, Chen Mu grinned, a lot. Xingyan's engine exploded, like an afterimage, rushing into the opponent's mecha group. The front, back, left, and right are the positions of the enemy's mecha, and the opponent can only fight melee. Melee combat is Chen Mu's greatest strength. Outside the entire Baki City, the flames of one mech after another exploding, like brilliant fireworks, made Miyamoto Jiro's eyelids twitch. Ida shook the hand holding the communicator left, and the communicator fell straight down. General, in 3 minutes, 10 S units, 96 A-level units, the entire army of the 8 snakes was wiped out. Begalu, open all the anti-aircraft towers, shoot him down, order all the mobile suits, open all the gun doors, shoot me down, whoever kills this mech will be promoted to 3 ranks. Miyamoto Jiro's roar resounded through the command channel. These few words also made the garrison of the entire Baki city start to pour out all the ammunition and firepower like chicken blood, and sprinkled Chen Mu overwhelmingly. So, while everyone was stunned, Chen Mu's hand speed and evasion skills that had sparkled the entire world in the virtual network were displayed for the first time in the real world. There are nearly 100,000 pilots in the permanent army of Baki City, and more than 1 million pilots from various universities and forces come here to do missions. At this moment, close to 200,000 mechas are densely packed like ants, floating above the entire base. This kind of scene is a rare big scene. Even Chen Mu was taken aback at first. There are so many mechas. You know, it is extremely shocking for a crowd of 1,000 people to form a target in front of you. Not to mention hundreds of thousands of mechs. Under the indiscriminate attacks of these mechas, Xingyan changed directions in a large range 3 times in a row, and then disappeared with a bang. All the pilots were speechless for a while. Can you avoid this? Is this still a human? This scene made all the pilots in Baki City feel sympathetic. Go and find out, which legendary pilot used a Zaku's mecha as a vest. Jiro Miyamoto's eyes became serious. This is absolutely impossible to be a scout. No country will use a legendary pilot as a scout. Find out who has angered the other party and let him come to Baki City to vent his anger. Yes, General, I'll check right away. Zuo Ida wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and walked outside. It's just that the two of them haven't realized at this moment that this battle with Chen Mu alone, has only just begun. Xingyan was hidden 300 kilometers away, and Chen Mu pressed his hands on the console. Very well, hundreds of thousands of mechas have been dispatched. Then I will let you see. Grandpa Tezu's enemy retreats and we advance. In and out. Quote, Jiro Miyamoto didn't wait for the message from Chen Mu's mech, but received news one after another that other teams, student teams, and mission teams were wiped out when they left the city. General, the second-ranked Jinguo team of Sakura Academy. It has been confirmed that all signals have been lost, and the group should be wiped out. General, the Temple team ranked 3rd in Dongdu Academy lost all signals and was completely wiped out by that Zaku. General, there are 109 people in the 5th Battalion, all signals are lost. General, enough, Miyamoto Jiro shouted loudly, interrupting his subordinate's report. Is it possible that the descendants of our majestic Yamada no Orochi, millions of pilots, have nothing to do with such a mecha? If word of this spreads, will our cherry blossom country still gain a foothold internationally? But General, our senior pilots are not in Baki City at the moment. Ordinary pilots can't do anything to them, especially now as long as a battle group with more than 1,000 people appears. The opponent will not attack directly. However, not many teams can reach such a scale. Even if they do, they will suffer heavy losses in the end under the constant sneak attacks of the opponent. According to calculations, the speed of the opponent's mecha has actually reached Mach 15, which is the speed that only SSS mechas can have. Miyamoto Jiro calmed down. Then, do we want to watch the other party show off his power here, but we have nothing to do. Let all the S-level mechs in the garrison disguise themselves as small teams, and find an opportunity to hold him back. In this way, it is possible for our large army to block him. Ida Zuo gave his opinion. But once it is defeated by the opponent, it is equivalent to losing half of our Baki City's combat power. Once there are strange beasts rioting, what can we do to stop it? Miyamoto Jiro spoke with some concern. General, then we can only find a way to report this matter to the main world, and let them arrange super experts to come over when the transmission channel is opened again. Otherwise, with our current combat power, we will suffer heavy losses if the other party cuts flesh with such a blunt knife. Unless all our powerful pilots stay in Baki City and do not go out, but in this way, all our operations will stop, which will be detrimental to subsequent development. Jiro Miyamoto's face was livid. Since the entire world was suppressed by the 12 legendary pilots and dared not speak out decades ago, those legendary pilots have all disappeared. It seems that they have disappeared. Jiro Miyamoto didn't know much about this period of history. As a senior commander of the new generation, Jiro Miyamoto didn't quite believe in his heart that there were such terrifying pilots. All of this must be because the original mechas were too backward, which led to the myth of some powerful mechas. After all, S-level mechas were very rare in the past, but with the improvement of the physical fitness of all human beings, not to mention that everyone has S, but the base number has increased countless times. However, after seeing the battle scene of Shenmue's Zaku, Miyamoto Jiro's heart was tangled. Ask for flowers, too strong. This is a fact that Miyamoto Jiro does not want to admit. With a mecha, it actually suppressed the entire Baki city. Now the young pilots of some school teams in the city dare not leave the city at all. Miyamoto Jiro understood what this meant. Every day there are people protesting the inaction of the military, which also makes Miyamoto Jiro very tormented. He also really wanted to rush out and fight this Zaku to the death. But he needs to think more about the safety of the entire Baki city. Okay, I understand, you go to your own business, try to appease the emotions of the pilots in the city. I will use the special emergency channel to contact the main world. Yes, General. Ida bowed left and walked out. If you want to go out, you need my permission. Shenmue controls Xingyan, quietly floating in the sky 30 kilometers outside Baki city. This position is enough for the detectors in Baki city to find him. But in this way, the grievances in the hearts of all the people of Sakura country became even bigger. If you have the guts, you will attack the city. A roar came from the loudspeaker of Baki city. Fool, Shenmue rolled his eyes, then manipulated the mech, raised his right hand, and made an international gesture. This scene immediately made the whole Baki city fry. Tens of thousands of unbearable mechas rushed out immediately, and threw themselves at Xingyan. Shenmue was refreshed and immediately entered a slightly excited state. After many battles, Shenmue discovered that in this state, he had the best grasp of the rhythm of his own battles, and the strength he could display was also optimized. Calm, slightly excited, Shenmue took a deep breath, and rushed over in the beam of light that filled the sky. Tens of thousands of mechas are enough to cover the sky. However, as long as you enter the enemy group, you can avoid being unscrupulously attacked by long-range sniper weapons. In fact, the number of players is meaningless to Shenmue, because every player who can fight him is only a dozen or so. And these pilots, in front of Shenmue who has been baptized in bloody battles, are full of flaws. Xingyan began to harvest the opponent's mechs continuously. As the number of casualties continued to increase, the number of mechas still flying out gradually decreased. Finally, after the blood had cooled down, seeing the piles of mecha wreckage all over the place, these Sakura national pilots began to tremble from the bottom of their hearts. Seeing countless laser beams coming from Baki city, Shenmue, who had almost cut through the square formation of tens of thousands of people, manipulated Xingyan to change direction so elegantly, escaped from the attack range, and left here without looking back. No matter how aggrieved the pilots in Baki city were, Yi Shui had already returned to the outskirts of Dragon City at this moment. Under her powerful scanning, a mech squad was immediately discovered. This is a small unit of the Dragon City garrison, with a total of 6 mechas, conducting routine patrols. Yi Shui's electronic eyes flickered, landed on the ground, and pulled out Zhang Tongyu. The moment Zhang Tongyu woke up, Yi Shui had already disappeared into the air. Compared with Zhang Tongyu who just entered the alien beast space, she is much thinner and paler at this moment. After all, Yi Shui doesn't care about her other affairs, just inject a tube of nutrient solution every day to keep her from dying. Zhang Tongyu's mind was dizzy for a while, and it took him a long time to remember what happened to him. But where is this? Zhang Tongyu was a little confused. She only remembered seeing a terrifying giant beast, and then she didn't know anything. Touching her whole body, Zhang Tongyu breathed a sigh of relief after 887 found that she hadn't had any terrible encounters, and then she heard the sound of the engine. Looking at the Dragon City logo on the mecha, Zhang Tongyu turned on the communicator and projected a distress message as if he had passed away. Immediately, several mechas circled one by one and came to the top of Zhang Tongyu. Report, 70 kilometers to the south of Longchang, a woman was found. After confirmation, she is Zhang Tongyu, the granddaughter of Mr. Zhang, and asked for instructions. A piece of information was delivered to Zhang Xin. At this moment, under the authorization of Tantai Jin, he can obtain external information in a timely manner. Just her. Yes, sir. No other characters were found. Zhang Xin was moved. Have you reported to others? No, sir. Very well. Don't let other people know about this matter. My son is Zhang Tongyu's lover, he needs to rescue Zhang Tongyu himself. Got it, sir. Okay, I understand. Stay there and don't move. Protect her, we will go there immediately. Zhang Xin rolled his eyes and said immediately. Yes, sir. Hanging up the communicator, Zhang Xin thought for a while, then dialed another communicator. It's what the young master meant. Yes, you go now, do it neatly, remember not to hurt Zhang Tongyu, this person is of great use to us. After hanging up the communicator, Zhang Xin thought about it again for a while, then trotted all the way to a luxury suite, and rang the doorbell. As the door opened, Tan Tai Jin's slightly unpleasant voice came, "What's the matter? How dare you disturb me at this time? My lord, there is something important." Zhang Xin bowed his head and said respectfully without looking at the two naked beauties on the bed. Oh, Tan Tai Jin put on his pajamas and sat up, pouted his lips, "You two, get out." The two women immediately grabbed their clothes and trotted out of the room. My lord, I found Zhang Tongyu, and I have already sent Anbu over there. Where's Chen Mu? Tan Tai Jin lifted his spirits. I didn't find Chen Mu. After the guards found Zhang Tongyu, they made a routine report, and I happened to intercept the information. Very good. This Tongyu was kicked into the ground by me at the beginning. If she returned to Mr. Zhang, I would have to be skinned by my father. Tan Tai Jin nodded, and then kicked Zhang Xin. You did a good job. After killing Zhang Tongyu, you will be indispensable when you go back. Thank you, son, but, regarding Zhang Tongyu, my subordinates have other ideas. Oh, didn't you fall in love with her? Okay, for the sake of your great achievements, I allow you to kill her first, how about that? I'm sure I'm mean to you. Tan Tai Jin laughed up. Thank you, young master, but the subordinate is not greedy for her body, it is really for the sake of young master. Huh, Tan Tai Jin lit a cigarette and took a puff. This Zhang Tongyu can come back alive, Chen Mu must not be dead, son, you know, they must have met, so in case Chen Mu comes back and stabbed this matter. We are still very passive. Quote, HMPH, this, I just don't like him, if we come back together, won't it save me trouble? Tantian snorted coldly. Yes, yes, but now that Chen Mu is not here and only Zhang Tongyu is back, the subordinates have a plan to make Zhang Tongyu obedient and put Chen Mu to death. Oh, there is such a good thing. You kid has always been scheming, let's hear it. Zhang Xin leaned over and started talking in detail. Tan Tai Jin's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he slapped Zhang Xin fiercely, you boy. You are cruel enough, I like it, ha ha ha, arrange it as soon as possible, if I don't kill this Chen Mu this time, I really don't like it. Gan Xin, Mada, I am in the imperial capital, no one dares not to look me in the eye, what kind of thing is this kid? Yes, don't worry, my lord. Zhang Xin smiled and followed Tan Tai Yan out of the room. The news that Baki City was trapped has been transmitted to the outside world through a special channel at this moment. The image of the Zaku holding the sickle was also transmitted simultaneously. It was a terrorist attack. Sakura country speaker Ito Sora held a press conference. At a time when the whole world is struggling to resist the attack of alien beasts, mechs attack Baki City brazenly, this is a blatant terrorist attack. We strongly condemn the actions of this pilot, and vow to fight against the evil forces to the end. We appeal to the forces behind this pilot to immediately stop all your actions, otherwise it will provoke a full counterattack from Sakura Kingdom. Ito Sora's impassioned speech won unanimous praise, and the group headed by Ligyu also began to jump out to criticize the attack. For a moment, the entire virtual network was looking for the true identity of the pilot. Soon, it was revealed that Chen Mu was a student of Tianfu College. With the help of many caring people, Chen Mu stood on the cusp of the storm, and Tianfu College was also pushed into the storm of public opinion. Principal Yang is currently dealing with countless inquiries from reporters, scolding Chen Mu and Yi Jingxuan in his heart. After finally coping with it, Principal Yang immediately contacted Yi Jingxuan through a special channel. Lao Yi, deal with the matter caused by your people as soon as possible. This matter is very complicated. If one fails, Tianfu Academy may disappear. Oh, I see, Yi Jingxuan said casually. What's your attitude? Forget it, I haven't contacted you about the matter of you detaining Zhang Ying, but this matter will cause international influence, you can figure it out. Regarding Yi Jingxuan's softness and toughness, Principal Yang has nothing to do with it. After hanging up the communicator, Yi Jingzan immediately recovered from the half-dead state, his eyes sparkling. Well, you actually suppressed the entire Baki city by one person. It seems that I still underestimated Xiaomu's combat power. This matter will definitely bring a lot of benefits. However, I want Sora Ito to bleed some idiot, it's not enough, how can I inform Xiaomu to cooperate? Yi Jingxuan fell into deep thought and began to think about the next action. As for the imperial capital, the sky is also turned upside down at this moment. Because of the spread of the Chenmu and Yin Hongshou incident, a group of second-generation ancestors who investigated the Ruan Mengyi flying car incident, driven by powerful energy, finally found out. Chenmu is the one who stole Ruan Mengyi's flying car. This one stone really stirred up waves. Ruan Mengyi spoke directly, and whoever caught the culprit, she would sing a song for the other party alone. This time, the entire emperor was boiling. Well, a little bit. Yi Jingxuan's eyes lit up, and he immediately turned on the optical screen in front of him and recorded a video. And this video was quickly spread to the main world and fell into Principal Yang's hands. After watching this video, Principal Yang also breathed a sigh of relief. Since Lao Yi has started to persuade Chenmu will definitely stop, find a way to contact Yinghua country, give them this video, and let them think about it for themselves. There is a way to persuade Chenmu to go. Through layers of relationships, this video finally fell into the hands of Sakura country speaker Ito Sora. After playing in the conference room, Ito Sora turned off the video and looked at his staff. You have all read it, and you can put forward any ideas. Yes, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing wrong with this video itself. Now there are still 7 days before the reopening of the alien beast space. If this video can make Chenmu stop, our loss will not be too great. Wait for the alien beast space open it again, and we will send experts in to capture it. Miyamoto Wuchi said. Miyamoto-sama is right. This strategy of slowing down the army is available. At present, reducing losses is the first priority. Kazuo Ida also gave affirmative suggestions. With the opening of these two main personnel, others immediately seconded. Sora Ito nodded. Okay, this incident, Longu Tianfu Academy cannot absolve them of the responsibility, we must let them feel our anger, even if this institution is not disbanded, they must provide corresponding compensation. Yes, Chengshi. Okay, first send the video to Baki City and let them negotiate with Chenmu. Today's Baki City is still gloomy. With Chenmu being so close to Baki City, it is extremely clear how many people the opponent has dispatched, so as long as the mecha leaves the city, with Xingyan's speed, no one will be able to escape. Jiro Miyamoto smoked a cigarette vigorously, and looked at the optical screen. Come here, negotiate with Chenmu, and send him the persuasion video from Tianfu Academy. Yes, General, a mech. Chenmu blinked, and looked at the mech that came out of Baki City with some doubts. The mecha didn't turn on any weapon systems, and raised its hands. Could it be a fraud? Chenmu retreated 5 kilometers cautiously. Hello, Mr. Chenmu, I am the representative of Baki City, can we talk? I have Tianfu College here, and your teacher Mr. Yi gave you a video. A stream of fluent dragon language suddenly came from the public channel. Mr. Yi, why did Grandpa send me a message? Chenmu was stunned for a moment, but immediately understood that something he didn't know must have happened. Pass it over and show me. Yes, Mr. Chenmu, please accept it. After Chenmu accepted it, he immediately saw his grandpa's kind face on his optical screen. Chenmu, as a student of Tianfu College, how can you attack Baki City in this situation where humans and alien beasts are fighting? If you are like this, where do you put Tianfu Academy? Where do you put my teacher? In the video, Yi Jingxuan's impassioned words made Chenmu roll his eyes. After chattering for nearly 5 minutes, Yi Jingxuan finished all the words of persuasion. And Chenmu's attention was all on one sentence. Confucius said, if a gentleman is not serious, he will be prestige. And in his mind, a scene of discussing this topic with Yi Jingxuan once appeared. At that time, Yi Jingxuan was explaining the truth to him at length, and there was this sentence in it. And Chenmu rolled his eyes and replied, Grandpa, the meaning of this sentence is that a gentleman needs to do something hard, otherwise how can he establish prestige? Looking at the grandpa's long speech in the picture, Chen Mu grinned. Grandpa, I understand, I will definitely focus on it. Mr. Chen Mu, the mecha on the opposite side asked cautiously. For the sake of your voice transmission to my teacher, I will spare you today, but don't use Tianfu Academy to suppress me. I was expelled from Tianfu Academy. If I didn't maim them, I was all ready for the teacher's sake. You little dwarfs, if you killed many of my brothers in the alien beast space, you will have to pay in blood, and you will never die. Today, I don't care who you are, if you dare to go out of the city, you must face my anger. I will guard you here for a year, come to me if you have the ability, and I will take them all. Chen Mu's words were said on the public channel, so the people in the whole Baki city could hear them clearly. Mr. Chen Mu, is there any misunderstanding in this from time to time? Ida Zuo asked with an extremely ugly face. Who are you? Chen Mu pouted. I am the commander-in-chief of the Baki City Defense Brigade, Ida Zuo. Oh, then you just pray not to come out, or I will be the first to kill you. You, Mr. Chen Mu, our army in Baki City will not kill innocent people indiscriminately. If you say that we killed your brother, you have to have evidence. Ida Zuo suppressed himself abruptly anger. Okay, evidence, right. Do you have someone named Yoshino Hideran? He is one of the murderers. Chen Mu said. Ida looked left at a woman beside him, who was operating on the optical screen for a while, and then nodded to him. Yes, General, but the signal of the mecha was lost a week ago, the judgment should have been made by Chen Mu shoot down. Ida Zuo was speechless for a while. Mr. Chen Mu, your brother is dead, I understand your feelings, but you have already taken revenge, and the others are innocent. Fart, that's not what Yoshino Yingshi said. He said that 17 families in your entire Baki city were involved in this matter. Chen Mu's mouth was slightly raised. This, Zuo Ida looked at his secretary again. At present, there are exactly 7 families in Baki city. The woman gave an affirmative answer. Ida Zuo suddenly felt that one head and too big. Mr. Chen Mu, this may be a misunderstanding, or... Okay, for the sake of my teacher, I will spare you for a week, but if you dare to let the 17 families go, then don't blame me for killing them. After Chen Mu finished speaking, he immediately turned off the communicator. Fortunately, last time, the small team was forced to find out something by me, which happened to be used. Hey, since Grandpa got involved and asked me to make things bigger, it's obviously beneficial to him, so I'm not in a hurry to go back and have fun with these dwarves here. Thinking of this, Chen Mu's mood calmed down, and he became more and more happy. They will definitely let these guys leave Dragon City in a week. Even if they don't agree, these family members will never obey the military's orders and wait here to die. Contradictions will inevitably erupt. At that time, some people will have fun, haha. Well, if I ask you for a week, then it must be a week. I, Chen Mu, am a very articulate person, and I will never lie. Xingyan drew an arc, flew to the distance, and soon disappeared in Baki City, leaving only a group of Sakura national pilots with livid faces. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.